All right, guys. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Post Game Spread. I'm your host, as always, Blake Helm. Sitting across from me here is a really special dude. I've got Javier Gamboa sitting across from me here, kind of a adopted Springfield son in ways. He's now out in the Phoenix area, but I've always wanted to have him on. Since I started this podcast about 2 years ago, I've had some interactions with Javi back when he was in Springfield, and I always just thought I wondered how he saw his career. I know you were a guy that was throwing mid-90s fuzz back when it wasn't so common, and then I know your shoulder fell apart, and then you found ways to stay in the game, and I've kind of followed you through your social medias and whatnot, and I've always just been kind of in awe of how you live your life, man. Like, just looks like you are doing it. Like, it looks like you're golfing, you're still playing baseball, you're working, you're going on vacations, you got your family stuff. It just looks like you're really in a sweet spot in many ways. And I've always wanted to know more about your journey. That's kind of what the whole podcast is about, is a journey to remember, worth remembering. So let me go over Javi's stuff a little bit. Javi was born, or sorry, seventh round pick of the Royals out of Cuesta College. Spent about 6 years in the Royals organization, reaching as high as Double A before shoulder issues kind of derailed his career. And I also found a little. Looks like you had a little brief nibble in any ball as a hitter in the Freedom League or something like that. We'll talk about that. But like I said, still involved in baseball and softball in ways. An entrepreneur. He started a clothing line at one point. He's had a baseball gear slash clothing line, the Bit brand, the Hitters brand. Um, Really cool. So how I know Javi is really cool. So right about you played for the Springfield Sultans, correct? Yeah, played for the Springfield Sultans, and you ended up either marrying or dating one of my teammates, Gino De Leon's older sister, correct?
Everything.
Yeah, okay. So then you ended up
13
sticking
years.
around kind of, what's that?
13 years.
13 years. Yeah, so you ended up sticking around Springfield for a while and made quite a bit of friends and but anyway, you would be hanging around. Sometimes you would come to some of our games and stuff like that. And it was really cool to have, this pro guy giving advice, just and there is kind of a magnetism to you, there's people gravitate towards you. You've got the it factor. And I always just thought it was so cool having you around. And anyway, yeah, I've always wanted to know like how you kind of saw your career. So we're gonna go back um and talk about it all. But also I see pictures a lot of times with you and Sandrendi Winster and then Juan Senricio.
Yeah.
Um, and I played against those guys in the Freedom League for a couple of years, and they were incredible. I can remember Sandrendi putting on a show in the Home Run Derby, and Juan Senricio looked like Bo Jackson or something. I mean, just incredible. So I hope those
Oh,
guys listen to it.
those are my brothers, man.
Your brothers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool. And then yeah. So Javi, what is life like for you now, man? How are you doing, man?
Well, thank you for having me on here. I know we've been trying to get together for a while, and it just took
Yeah,
a little bit. It took a little bit of time.
you're a busy
I
guy.
own a few businesses, so it's tough for
Yeah,
me to take some time off. But it's definitely worth it.
yeah.
My life's great, man. I mean, I'm running three businesses. I have partners in all those businesses now. I'm still very involved in baseball. I still play Saturday leagues. I
Wow,
don't want to play in the old man league though, man. I'll be 51 here in a few days,
wow.
and I can't be playing in the 50-year-old or 40 and over. I mean, it's just not. Balls are being dropped. You know,
Yeah.
guys can't steal bases. So I still try to play in the 18 and over open division just because I still have good eye, I still have good hand-eye coordination, I can still run. So
It's
um
incredible. And this guy posts videos every once in a while online of 400-foot blasts. I mean, at your age, that's incredible. I mean, just
yeah,
wow.
the joke around here is that from all the ex ball players around here, they say that the Javi Gamboa has more home runs at Tempe Diablo Stadium than Mike Trout. It's kind of like my field, I guess. Every time I play in
Yeah,
that stadium, for some reason, I hit a home run. It's just one of those. It's not like I don't say that; they say that joking around, but
yeah,
it's kind of funny.
yeah.
But yeah, I still play, man. I still play in all the adult tournaments. I travel. Actually, I'm going to Rocky Point this weekend to play a baseball tournament.
Wow. I love that you're still part of the game and still able to do it. And I'm just in awe that you can still hit tanks like that, especially because you're a pitcher. I'm
Yeah,
obviously talented enough to swing the bat and still really swing it hard to do that. 50 years old, still hitting 400 plus tanks.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Off
Yeah.
off
Stay
guys
in
throwing
shape.
off guys still throwing a 90. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
actually easier to hit that than the
Yeah. I
than
love
the
that.
than the 60 mile an hour little.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. That's
yeah, man. I stay involved in the game, man, and I'll tell you why. It's a big network. Baseball
yeah.
players are a big, huge network, and for business, it's my biggest network. Baseball
Mm,
has taught me so much, and baseball has made me so much money. And I didn't play in the big leagues, but
yeah.
baseball makes me a lot of money now based on my relationships I've had through baseball. So
Beautiful.
I stay in the game because it's to me it's my they're my family. There's
Yeah.
nothing like camaraderie in the dugout. There's nothing like going and talking smack to the ball players. Do making jokes. Having a beer after the game, talking about
Yeah.
business, and a lot of my business partners are baseball players. So
Yeah.
we all have the same mentality, and we all work hard. We all drive every day, drive each other, push each other,
Yeah. I
and
love that.
I stick together. We all stick together.
Mm.
So
That, that's beautiful, my man. Before we move on to some of the questions, I wanted to say a few things about Gino because he was kind of your, I guess, brother-in-law there for a
yeah,
while.
yeah.
But I've always been really interested. So Gino did not end up playing college baseball, but he was set to go to your school for a while, wasn't he? I thought something
And-
fell apart. He was going to go to Cuesta College, but
yeah,
I don't know what happened. But uh, Gino, I always thought was kind of raw, but he had some amazing tools, and I always wondered what would have happened if he
if
had
you
got into college baseball. I mean, he had really a pro level arm from the outfield. He was really fast, and he had some pop in that bat. He could really whip that thing. So I always wondered, I mean, what he could have done if he had gone a little further. So
I
shout out
agree
to
with you.
Gino De Leon.
Yeah, Gino, he was what a stud. He's a
Yeah.
specimen. He was a
Yep.
specimen, and so are you. You guys together. I mean, I was like, these guys are going to do something with ball.
Thank you.
When I would come out and watch you guys. So,
Yeah.
Gino's doing great still.
Yes, he's doing well. He's got a beautiful family. He's doing great.
Yeah, so he's doing great. I want to
Yeah.
stay in touch with him a little bit more, but everybody's busy.
I have this awesome memory of you in our dugout at Chamberlain Park. I think I was pitching. I think I was having a good game. But anyway, you and I were talking about building arm strength, and you were saying you looked at some building beyond the left field wall, and you were like, me and my homies when we were young, we used to just throw it as far as we could. We were trying to throw it over that outfield fence, and I mean, this was a good 380 throw probably, and that stuck in my head, and that really became something that drove, that I did as I got older and older. I really tried to push that long toss, and I always remembered that conversation. It stuck with me.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we did in high school. The
Yeah,
story behind that is I'm a freshman, right, coming in. The coach, uh, the coach for the varsity team, um, uh, Alvord, his last name was, he didn't really like me because I'm this young punk coming in, thinks he's the shit, right? And then
yeah,
but I wasn't your typical, baseball player. I wore baggy jeans and baggy shirts and just a little punk, you know what I mean, a freshman. But I
yeah,
was a very good baseball player, so I remember the first practice they call it the fence drill, right? And this was varsity, freshman, JV, varsity all together. And
yeah,
so everybody's trying to throw it over the fence, right? It's like 360 feet out, in the gap, whatever. And then beyond that fence was a big old eucalyptus tree. And then beyond
yeah,
that was a roof of a building, right? So they're all trying to throw it, and I'm like, what are they trying to do? They're like, oh, we're trying to throw it to the fence. I go, right there. I go, I could do that. They're like, what? So I played a little catch, first throw over the tree into the roof. The coach comes out. Coach Albert comes out. He goes, who was that? That was Gamboa. He just shakes his head and goes back in the dugout. Like that little punk kid that did that just now. Like he was
right.
kind of upset, so he knew I had talent, but he kind of was really hard on me because he wanted
Yeah,
to. He's like, you got so much talent, you don't even know what you're doing because all you're doing is out there just being a little punk. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Getting in
Well,
fights, getting in trouble. Just that's all I knew. You know what I mean?
sure.
So that's how that started. So since then, I was always playing long toss, and that's how
Yeah.
I was able to get my velocity up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I already mentioned it earlier, but if I remember, you were kind of a mid-90s guy, weren't you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Before your arm kind of blew up?
I was throwing 90. I was topping out at 97.
Yeah.
Um, at the end of my career, and at the time, there was not a lot of guys throwing 97.
No, I mean, now there are a ton of guys that throw at mid-90s, but not then. That was
Not
that
that
you were a unicorn in many ways
everybody
throwing
back
that
then.
hard
Yeah,
back then.
people back then were throwing 92, 94, maybe 95 smolts. Maybe
Yeah.
throwing hard, but you didn't have a lot of guys. Everybody 90.
No.
Low 90s.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, it was a time. And I just wish it would have lasted a little longer, buddy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into all that, man. I can already tell this is going great already, man. It's so fun sitting here with you. And I've been texting some of your Springfield guys too that you're gonna be on today. Like I texted Springer and Weaver, Kurt Stinson, some of those guys. I always see pictures of you with a bunch of firefighters when they're down in, down in spring training and stuff like that. So you still have some ties to Springfield in a way. David
Oh yeah.
Travis.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those are
Yeah.
my. I spent 7 years there actually living full time.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
there back and forth when I was playing, just because in the off season I would just hang out there because my ex wife was from there. But I
Yeah.
spent 7 years there, and I built some very good friendships there. Matter of fact, I still
Absolutely.
go to Springfield just to visit my friends in Springfield. I'm like, why don't you
Wow.
guys come to my house? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, David Travis is actually on his way over here this next week for my birthday party
Cool.
on the 22nd.
Right on.
My daughter's
Beautiful.
throwing me a party, so he's gonna fly out here. And every time these
That's
guys come out here for spring training or golf or whatever, I always make sure I hang out with them.
Yeah, I see that. I see the pictures. It's so
Yeah,
cool that you still have all these ties to Springfield. Um, well, with no further ado, man, are you ready to get into some of these questions?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do
Awesome.
it.
And you're gonna be our first non-US born guest. And so a lot of these guys have these very similar, upbringings, little league, middle class, upper middle class. You're gonna be our first guy. So you were born in if I'm pronouncing this right, Hermosillo, Mexico. Am I saying that right?
Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico.
Okay.
It's a state
So,
of Sonora. The state of Sonora.
mhm.
Hermosillo is the capital. Big city.
Okay. Okay.
Big city. So it's about a 5.5, 6 hour drive from Phoenix,
Okay.
straight south.
So I'd love to hear what was it like growing up there, man? What was family life like? What was it like? I
Oh,
have
dude,
no clue.
it was amazing. It was amazing. It was my
Okay.
favorite time of my life.
Really?
You know, being born there. So my grandparents were from a small island called San Marcos Island. My mom's parents. My dad's parents
Okay.
passed away when I was a little baby. So my mom's parents were from San Marcos Island. Okay, which is in the Sea of Cortez, right in the middle by this little town called Santa Rosalia. It's a small island. That's where my grandparents were born. That's where my mom and her sisters were born. There's four women and then one boy, my uncle.
Hmm.
So when that's where they grew up, when they decided to go to high school, there's no high school there, right? So my grandfather went and got a job in Hermosillo, and he worked as a mechanic for Pepsi.
Okay.
So he was with Pepsi. The daughters were there at 17, 18 years old. That's where they start meeting the crazy guys like my father and my uncles that were
Hmm.
born there. And then that's when we started our families there. That's where I was born. But
Yeah.
our entire family is from Baja California.
Okay.
I've got my grandfather has 12 brothers and sisters, and my grandmother had 15 brothers and sisters. And they're all baseball players. I don't
Really?
know if you
So it's
know this, but
in the family.
Miguel Ojeda, catcher for the Padres,
Mhm.
that's my cousin.
Really?
Mario Valenzuela for the White Sox, big hitter. He hit a home run off Roger Clemens in the World Baseball Classic. That's my
Yeah.
cousin.
Oh, wow.
But nobody really knows because we don't, everybody's just doing their life. But yeah, I hang out with
Sure.
those guys all the time. I actually went to Cabo last year, played a baseball tournament with my cousin Mario, and he hit
Really?
three tanks. I hit one, he hit three, and
Wow.
his were like 500 feet. I couldn't believe he's 47 years old, but
Wow.
he's a coach now for the Diablos of Mexico.
Okay. Absolutely.
So, so then that's where I grew up, and just growing up there, man. I just remember, even back in the days in Mexico, I remember just being out in the streets, man, playing ball. Just
Yeah.
finding a corner lot with no house on it, dirt, a bunch of rocks, and we would make a baseball field until they built a house on it.
Really?
And that's how we played, man. And I remember making baseballs out of socks, throwing a bunch of
Man.
rocks in it, rolling them up,
Wow.
making and sewing them together, just as long as they could last and play on the streets. And then
Really?
we would also take, back in the day, they didn't have little plastic balls, small ones that look like not wiffle balls, but the swishy ones, like.
Yeah.
So I would take the balls that you'd buy at like Walmart, the bigger balls with the little button on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
They're just bouncy balls.
Yeah.
We take those and you heat up water and boil water on a big pan. Then you put the ball on top and you just roll the ball, and the ball shrinks into the size of a
What?
baseball. Yeah,
Really?
that's how we played. But now they make them that size. You know what I'm saying? So we would play with those, man. As hard, we throw as hard as we can. We just put a big old box on the wall and just throw as hard as we can at each other and hit it with a
Really?
baseball, with a broomstick.
Really?
Or we played with
Yeah.
bottle caps. We played with bottle caps. I mean, everything was baseball to us. Everything was
Yeah.
baseball. And in Hermosillo, it gets about 120 degrees, in the summer.
Huh?
I'm like 10, 11 years old, going out and trying to get my friends to go play baseball at 120 degrees. They thought I was crazy. That's why I'm so
So you
dark.
just loved it. You just were ate up by it. Wanted to do it all the time.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. But I always had that drive too of like I already knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I was coming to the United States to play professional baseball and I was going to play in the big leagues. I mean, that was like I that was
Really?
my dream since I was a little kid. And
Really?
so when
I love that.
my parents moved to the U.S. When I was 7, and
Okay.
they lived in Hawaiian Gardens, California. My mom and dad. My dad's Javier. My mom's Lucy. My little
Hmm.
sister Nancy at the time. That was just us two, right? So they took her, and I stayed back in Mexico. So I
Okay.
stayed back, and that's where my grandfather really got me into the game of baseball and putting me on teams and stuff like that.
Okay.
I had an opportunity to play for Little League World Series for Mexico that I didn't get a chance to go because I came to the United States at that time. I was 11,
Really?
full time. So then I
Yeah.
came to the United States. My parents got, we got residency. I got residency. Everything was good. Um, and then we moved to Paso Robles, California when I was in seventh grade.
Okay.
And that's where I took on baseball in the United States and just really focused on no other sport. I just played ball,
Yeah.
and you know, that's pretty
So
much all.
were you playing? Was there like little league or anything like that in Mexico, or were you just
Oh
playing
yeah,
in the
oh
streets?
yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah. No, I play little league.
Okay.
Um, the team that I played on actually that when the season was over, I moved. They made it to represent Mexico for the Little League
Yeah,
World
in the Little League
Series
World Series, that would have been so
in
cool. I
1980,
love watching that on TV.
1986. I think it was 1986 or 85,
Wow. Okay.
and that would have
So
been the team I was going to play on.
so when you moved to the United States, was that a culture shock for you at all, or was that a smooth transition? What was that like for you?
No, it wasn't because I used to visit my parents every summer, or
Okay.
I was always back and forth. I
Yeah.
already knew English by the time I moved to the States.
Okay.
My parents became citizens. I just wanted to stay in Mexico because my grandfather really, kind of he spoiled me, man. He whatever I wanted to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he got me into the game, and my grandparents were very protective of me. So they're like, "Nah, you're not going out there until your dad and your mom's got their stuff figured out. Like,
Right.
I'm not just gonna let you go out there, and just
Sure.
oh my dad, So finally everything was good, and like I said, when I moved there, they already had residency, so I was a permanent resident.
Yeah.
Actually, I became a citizen in 2014, barely.
Really?
Did you know
Really?
that? Yeah.
Did not
Yep.
know that.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I've been a permanent resident of the United States. The only thing I could not do is vote. Everything else, I still
Gotcha.
could own businesses. I still pay tax. Everything's exactly the same. I just couldn't vote.
Yeah. Interesting.
So now
Um,
I'm
Go ahead.
so now I said now everything's solid.
Beautiful, man. I think you kind of answered it a little bit already, but my next question was going to be maybe you have more to it. Tell me about when did you first feel like you were like falling in love with the game? Do you have any like memories of like, man, like this is what I want to do forever?
Oh yeah, I mean the first time I ever watched baseball on TV. I
Yeah.
mean, it was the first time I ever started playing the game. It's the first time I ever picked up a bat to hit a ball, like as a 6, 7 year old little kid.
Yeah.
I never liked anything else. I didn't like to play with like little cars or nothing. I was just with a
Yeah.
stick and a ball. I
Talented
remember
from the
I'm
beginning?
I was like 6 years old. My grandfather got me a real bat, and a real ball.
Yeah.
Like first couple swings, I put it right through the window, and my grandma was making coffee right there in the kitchen. I I just loved it from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I just remember watching baseball as a little kid with my grandfather, watching the Dodgers because Fernando Valenzuela was his favorite player at the time.
Yeah.
I got a funny
Right.
story behind that.
Let's go.
And I watched it on this little TV, dude. It was like a 12-inch TV, black and white, with the little knobs on it. And we would
Yeah.
just watch it, and he had little antenna ears, like the little antennas.
I mean,
Right.
Mexico went crazy for Fernando when he was doing his thing, right?
Oh, bro. So this is crazy. So when I was in high school, my freshman year, actually my senior year of high school, I went to Mexico um, in the summer, and I got signed by the Naranjeros de Hermosillo, the Hermosillo big league team. So I never went to play because I wanted an opportunity to sign professional here. If I would have
Hmm.
played over there, they would have had my rights because I'm a Mexican citizen. So if I would have
Gotcha.
signed professional, they would have had to be able to sign off and say, yes, he can go. Feel me? So
Hmm.
I stayed in the States and never went to play over there. Um, and my freshman year in college, after my freshman year, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna go to Mexico, right? So I was talking to my grandfather, and he's like, no, you can't just stay there, whatever. As I got drafted the following year, literally about 6 months later, my grandfather says, you just got traded for Fernando Valenzuela in the Mexican leagues. I was like, what? No way. So I literally got traded to Navajoa and got traded for Fernando. So then I belong to Navajoa. So
Yeah.
long story about that. We can get into that in a little bit, but that was just awesome for
That's
my
cool.
grandfather to see an article that I just got traded for his
Your
favorite
names
player.
together. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. It was amazing for him.
Yeah.
So,
He's arguably the most famous Mexican player of all time, would you say? I mean, celebrated.
oh, absolutely. Wow,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fernando.
That's Fernando.
Yeah, rest
Yeah.
in peace.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Um, when did you feel like you were talented, or when you started separating yourself, like, I'm pretty good at this? Was it right away?
No, no, not. I actually was playing a summer league team called the Yankees. I was probably like 10. When's the first time you could actually pitch, coach, like regular pitch? I
I
don't.
mean, it depends. I think it's like 8, 9, 10 in that
Yeah, something like that. I
range.
was little, visiting my parents for the summer, so they put me on this little team called the Yankees.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just remember, and I was already playing in Mexico, the little tiny little kids. But
Yeah.
I was pretty good in Mexico. But Mexico had some great players to where I was
Yeah.
like, damn, I don't think I'm that good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
right? I was just kind of getting to know the game. I just remember dropping fly balls still, like, and
Yeah.
it would piss me off. But I came to the United States, and then I got on a mound, and they're like 40 something feet. You know what I mean? And I just remember pitching for the first time, and the coach is catching. Boom. I don't even remember his name. Just he was the dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just catching. And he's like, "Can you throw harder than that?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Throw it as hard as you can." I said, "Okay." I went. He's like, "Oh my god!" Like he could not believe that I threw it that hard and it threw a strike right at his chest. And I was
Yeah.
like, so then right there, I'm like, "Damn, maybe I'm going to be a good pitcher." You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think like once I moved to the United States when I was in sixth grade, after sixth grade, that's when I really knew that I stood out.
Hmm.
You know, in the teams that I played on. Um,
Yeah.
I was always an all star. I was always top hitter on the team. I was always the pitcher of the team. I was always
Yeah.
either playing center or short or somewhere where it was like I made a difference.
Yeah.
So I
For
just knew
sure.
that I had some talent. When I went to Paso Robles, California, have a lot of great friends there that played baseball that were still very close. Um,
Hmm.
and I was high school All American. I was a junior college All American. I was actually Western State Conference Player of the Year in California, Southern California Junior College Player of the Year.
Hmm.
Um, so like I've always been the talent, you know what I mean? But I always loved to
Yeah.
hit. I was always a hitter,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
always pitch, and I could always. So to me, like when I got drafted as a pitcher, it kind of sucked. You know what I mean? I was like,
Really
man,
interesting.
I was like,
Okay.
fuck, I don't want to
You wanted
just
to hit
hit.
still.
I want to hit.
Yeah. Right.
And so I just thought, I thought, I've always been pretty good, in any team, and I seem to grow with the team, right? So I'm a
Mhm.
leader in that sense. I'm not just
I can see that.
I get better. I get better with the good players, and I surround
Uh-huh.
myself around good players. So you just adapt to each other. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I love that. I'd love to hear about your high school experience. You kind of
Yeah.
mentioned that you got off to an interesting start where your coach didn't really love you and you were throwing it over the fence, and like how did it
Yeah.
go after that?
I didn't go to varsity until my sophomore year
Okay.
because I think the coach didn't like me at the time.
Sure.
But
Happens.
I played freshman ball. I hit like 515 with like 6 home runs or something like that. And then they put me on JV, that same
Yeah.
year. Then I finished off there, but then the following year I started varsity, and I was a third hitter of the team, and I was played center field, played right field,
Yeah.
center field.
Yeah.
I remember at right field though, because I had a cannon, right? I'd be like,
I
I
can see
want
it.
you to go home, go home. I'd be throwing people out from 30 feet. They get thrown out by like 15, 20 feet, bro. It was like,
I believe it.
yeah.
I believe
And
it.
and I think about it now, I'm like, these guys in the big leagues, how come they don't throw them out? I think in
Yeah.
my head, like, I think I could have thrown them out back in the day,
Oh man. Yeah.
but it's probably different.
So, I mean, were you getting? I mean, you ended up at Cuesta College. Were you getting any pros sniffing around, or were other
In high
colleges
school,
talking to you, or what kind of happened? Yeah.
I was not a good student. Uh,
Okay.
so my GPA was not that great. I
Yeah.
graduated, but I pretty much just graduated.
Yeah.
I never really thought about going to D1 because I always felt that maybe I'm just not that I wasn't good enough as a player, but it's just now it wasn't my thing. So I
School.
just
Yeah.
always knew that if I was going to go to school, I was just going to go to college in Cuesta. And
Yeah.
since I already was going to sign with Hermosillo. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to go to Cuesta for a year or two. If I don't get drafted, I'm going to play baseball in Mexico for
Yeah.
15 years and
Sure.
have a great career as a hitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As a hitter, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know you that
So
you loved hitting that much. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So then that was my plan.
Yeah.
Go to school 1 year, maybe two. So my freshman year I went, I was okay. I was our nine hitter in JUCO. I
Hmm.
played third, made 3 errors the entire season. I would
Okay.
eat everything up at third, had a good arm. I hit ninth. I think I hit like 315 or something like that. I weighed about 175 pounds, six
Skinny
foot
still. Yeah.
175. Was
Hmm.
had a little bit of pop, but not great. So then
Were you pitching?
I was pitching. So I was pitching,
Okay.
but I was just spot pitching. I would just come in from third. Like I
Okay.
think I was like maybe like you know 3-1 or 3-2 or something like that. I was just like
Okay.
I get a win real quick. I wasn't like a starter.
Yeah.
And so I went my buddy Bobby Brown. You know Bobby Brown?
I can't say I did, but that
He's
name
coach-
sounds familiar
he's a
though.
coach in indie ball all over the place. I bet you know who
Okay,
he
that's
is.
where it is. I know I've heard it. I know I've
He
heard
has,
it.
he puts in an upper dip like it's like the size of a freaking baseball up here.
He puts
His
in upper
teeth,
deckers.
oh yeah, his teeth are all brown all the time. Like he's a disaster, but he's my really good friend. So his after his freshman year, he goes to Clarinda, Iowa, to go play in the Jayhawk League.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's out there for about a month, and he calls me. He goes, Javi, he's like, how's your arm? Because I've been working out. Like I've been hitting the gym. I've been working out, throwing hard, working on my velocity, working on my command, working on my mechanics. Like I already knew that the next year was going to be my pitching year. I'm not going
Okay.
to go anywhere as a hitter right now. I need to focus on my arm. So I
Okay.
put on some weight. He calls me. I go, yeah, dude, my arm's solid. He goes, we need another guy. We need a starter. We need another starter. One of our guys got hurt. He's done. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I fly out to Clarinda, Iowa, right? So I'm there, and then I'm pitching, I'm starting, and he goes, dude, your velocity's up. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? He goes, yeah, your velocity's up. I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, we didn't have any
So you didn't know
scouts.
what it was.
I didn't know what it was. I knew it was up.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he goes, I think you're throwing like low 90s, bro. And I was like, what? Really? All right, cool.
Yeah.
So we go,
Cool.
and I had like a great season there, right? I think I went like, I don't know, maybe like 5-0 or something like that, 5-1
Hmm.
maybe. But I was hitting. Every time I pitch, I would hit, and I'd be hitting
In the
line
Jayhawk
drive
you're talking about?
in the Jayhawk League.
Okay.
So I was hitting when I pitched.
Yeah.
And then, so then we go to the NBC World Series, right? This is after my freshman year at JUCO. Go to the
Yeah.
NBC World Series, and I throw opening night of the whole tournament. We had the first game,
Mhm.
so I'm pitching, right? And I don't feel that great. Like I had the velocity, but I felt good, right? Like he comes, so we win the game 2-0, right? For
Mhm.
opening night. Von Hayes was our first baseman. Remember Von
Oh,
Hayes?
wow. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Phillies.
yeah, I throw opening night. I'm sitting in the stands with Bobby. This guy comes up to me, taps my shoulder. He's like, "How you doing?" He goes, "Hey, are you Javier Gamboa?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I saw you throw yesterday." I go, "Oh yeah." He goes, "I had you. I'm so and so with the New York Yankees." He was a scout. He goes, "I had you in '92, right?"
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Really?" I go, "All right." I go, "I got more than that." And he goes, "You do?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "When are you pitching again?" I go, I'm scheduled to pitch here. Hopefully we win. We had just lost the next game, so we're one
Yeah.
and one. And so he's like, "Would you throw a bullpen for us if you don't win?" Like, I'm like, "I'll do it as long as my coach is good with it."
Yeah.
So anyway, it poured rain. I didn't get a chance to throw a bullpen. So that was my first experience with a scout ever that
So
year,
getting some
right?
interest now. Yeah.
So then I go to college, right? This was in the fall
Yeah.
now. Now we're at JUCO. I kept working out, kept training. I'm freaking throwing a bullpen, and my coach goes, "What the hell happened to you?" Larry Lee. Larry Lee, he's a Cal Poly head coach now in San Luis Obispo.
Mhm.
His son is Brooks Lee. He was a first round pick 2 years ago. Got like 3.5 million. Brooks Lee. He's faster than hell.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, he goes, "What the hell happened to you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, did you did you see did you find the gym? Did you what?" I go, "A little bit of everything, coach." So he looks at me, and goes, "Okay." So I throw in the fall a couple games, right? Boom, boom. I'm freaking blowing it by people, bro.
Yeah.
And it's JUCO, bro. You know, what I mean? Like nobody's throwing 95. You know what I mean? 94,
No.
90, nobody. So he's like, "Okay." So our first season game start. First season, I start. So he must have gone on the phone and was like, "You guys need to come check out this guy." And
Right.
every year we had draft guys. You know what I mean? You
Sure.
guys need to check out this guy. So I'm throwing. I go like this. I go get ready to throw the first pitch. I step back, to go on the windup. All I see is like 15 radar guns come up, and then they
Wow.
freaked me out, and I was like, "Whoa!" So I stopped. I didn't throw the ball, so I regrouped a little bit. The catcher comes up. Bobby Sherwood comes up. He's like, "Javi, everything all right?" I go, "No, no, bro. I just freaked out. There's like 15 guns back there." He goes, "They're here to
Man.
see."
Yeah.
He goes, "They're here to see you, brother." I'm like,
Wow.
"What? Let's go!" So then that's
Yeah.
kind of how that season started, and then it was an incredible year. I think I was like, I don't even know what my record was, 13-2 or something like that.
Just dominating. Yeah.
I hit like
So
seven
scouts
bombs.
there the whole year.
Oh, dude, I got a backpack full of letters of all the letters I got from colleges and scouts and freaking. I was projected to go in the top 3 rounds,
Yeah.
but I fell back a little bit. You know how it happens in the draft.
Sure.
I fell back a little bit because I didn't have a Division 1 college to go to
Right.
because my grades again.
Yeah.
I was never good at books, brother. Never.
It's okay. It's not for everyone.
No, definitely not. And so
Now, were you feeling pressure? Well,
no,
you go
no.
from being kind of a relatively unknown to now there's 20 scouts watching you every day.
Oh,
What
I
does that feel
loved it.
like?
I loved it.
Loved it.
I loved
Okay.
it. Yeah. Local kid, I was on the news all the time,
Yeah.
interviewing. It was fun, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I had a girlfriend in college. She was awesome, and she just really balanced me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kept me out of trouble. Practice. My teammates were amazing. Two of them went to the University of Nebraska, Bobby Brown and Jesse Zapata. Got to watch them in the
Hmm.
College World Series. When I was in Double A or high A ball or something like that.
Yeah.
But just great teammates, man. And I feel like we were a home run away from going to the Final Four. And the home
Oh
run
wow.
was by me. I hit a freaking grand slam to win the game, and it went foul
Oh
to
man.
win it, to walk it off, to go to the College Worlds, to go to the Final Four,
Yeah.
and I end up freaking striking out the next pitch looking. That was my final at bat.
Oh man.
But yeah,
So
I ended up going
what
to the
what were
seventh.
you running up to velo wise this year?
that year,
Yeah.
90. I think I topped out at 95.
Phew.
Yeah, but
Man.
93, 94 was like kind of like
Sitting.
every game I would throw 93, 94.
Yeah.
And I was 195 pounds, 6 foot, you know, 6 foot one almost. That's what
Yeah.
my driver's license says. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
Feeling on top of the world.
I was running it up at about 94, 95.
Yeah.
I got up to 97 when I was in
Pro
with
ball.
Kansas City, but most of the time though it was 93, 94. That was like my velocity.
And scouts were projecting you top 3 rounds, what you said?
Oh yeah, I went through a bullpen and candlestick for the Giants the
Oh
day
wow.
before the draft
That's
because they
cool.
wanted me. They wanted all the roving guys to see me.
Yeah.
So the scout actually picked me up at my house. We drove to San Francisco. I threw a bullpen for him, topping out at 94, 95. Came back, drove back. He's like, okay, we're gonna take you in the third round, straight up. I'm like,
Yeah.
sweet, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at making some good money. Broke
Sure.
kid with no money. Parents got no money. Nobody got money. I'm like, I'm trying to make some money.
Yeah.
So, um, so they called me actually the day of the draft. It was like 10 in the morning or something like that. 9 in the morning. He's like, we just finished the second round. Have you gotten a call from anybody yet? He's not even supposed to be calling me, the scout.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. He goes, okay, they're starting the third round. I'm like, sweet. I go grab a beer in the freaking fridge, dude. I call
Yeah.
my buddies. I'm like, hey, it's 10 in the morning. So I get a
Yeah.
phone call at like 1. Brrr. Hello? Hey, is this Javier Gamboa? Yeah. This is Frank Bias with the Kansas City Royals. How would you like to be a Royal? I'm like, what round did I go in? I'm pissed. First of all, I
Yeah,
never
right.
talked to the Royals one time.
Really?
I talked to the Giants and all kinds of other teams. I
Yeah.
go, what round did I go? He goes, we took you in the seventh. I go, seventh? He goes, you sound kind of disappointed. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, Frank. It's not you. I just felt that I could have gone a little higher. But okay, so
Sure.
what do we do? It was a good conversation after that. But that was my initial response. I was like, what round did I go in?
I mean, after that, did you feel elation? I mean, this is the moment that you've been waiting for your whole life to get your ticket to the pro ball. Good?
I mean, that was
What
amazing,
you got?
bro. That was
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
Man.
that was like everybody's dream. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, you know how it is. You know how it feels, and
Absolutely.
be a little
Absolutely.
kid, be a little kid from Mexico, and just kind of knowing that that's what I wanted my whole life. And now
Yeah.
it's coming true.
Yeah. Beautiful,
So,
man. So then, I mean, after that, I mean, I imagine the family is ecstatic. Everyone's partying. What's going on?
oh yeah,
No?
my parents, they're not really, they don't get too excited too much.
Okay.
But obviously, my family back home in Mexico, my grandparents, my
Yeah.
grandmother, my grandfather was, you know, so excited. My uncles,
Sure.
my dad's not really big. I don't even think ever played catch with my dad. He has
Really?
no idea about baseball,
Really?
so
Interesting.
never. I never had a,
Yeah.
I never had like, that's why I think Mexico really helped me out because everybody in the neighborhood and my whole family's baseball and boxers, my whole family. So it's like when I
Okay.
stayed there as a little kid, that's when I kind of took it on. If I would have been with my dad, I would have probably been on motorcycles like my son.
Yeah.
You know what I
I've
mean?
seen that. I've seen a lot. Yeah. Multiple of your sons or one of your sons is on like dirt bikes and all kinds of crazy
My
stuff.
son
Yeah.
Julian, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
flies like 40 feet up in the air, 50 feet up in the air
Nuts.
on dirt
Beautiful,
bikes. Yeah.
man. So then, was there any negotiating when it came to your signing bonus, or how'd that go?
Yeah. Yeah. There was a little negotiating. I had an agent. The agent was more like a father of one of my coaches.
Okay.
Got a little negotiation, bro, but it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
I think I got like $5,000 more than the seventh round draft pick the year before. That's
Okay.
that's kind of how
Yeah.
they go. If I had a Division 1 scholarship or I was going somewhere,
You have some
then that's
leverage.
then that's leverage. Yeah, that's a little bit
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But
But it
I
was time to
signed
start your pro career.
exactly. I was
Yeah.
ready to
So
roll.
then,
Let's go.
so take me there, man. I mean, Eugene Emerald, short season. What was this?
Yes.
What was this year like for you? What was your
You
introduction to
know
pro ball like?
that year was awesome. My problem with that year is that I was trying to throw as hard as I possibly could, just to. I don't know why. I was I didn't have a good start to my career, but my velocity was great. I threw opening day there. Like they had big expectations for me.
Sure.
I was throwing 96, 95, 96 at that time now. My zone was a little up. It was like, just kind of new to the game. Had a little bit
Hmm.
of bad luck. I think I was like 0 and 5 or something my first year. But the following year, I learned from it, and the following
Sure.
year, I started off the year like 6-0 with like in Springfield. I was like 6-0
Yeah.
in the beginning of the year with like a point three something ERA, like because it was cold, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I was just bam, bam, fastball, fastball. And I
Yeah.
had a great start. And then I ended up going 0 and 6. Like I was 6-0 and then
I see that. You're 6-6 with a 3.15 ERA in
yeah, and I
Springfield.
started out 6-0 with like a .39. I made I was in the All-Star game, like, and then I go
Yeah.
0 and 6. I'm like, what the hell's going on here,
Yeah.
So anyway, then I got moved up that year. I went up to Wilmington, Delaware, with the
Right.
with the
In the
Blue
Carolina
Rocks,
League. Yeah.
Carolina
And
League. So
looks like you threw well there as well. Four ERA, 3-4, win
yeah,
loss record. So still
yeah,
doing it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's when I started feeling a little messed up shoulder and like,
Really? That
yeah,
early?
yeah, that early, bro, that early. But I didn't have surgery. I just needed a little bit of rest.
Okay.
I feel that I needed the surgery once I got to double A's when I was like, man, like something's wrong there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's when everything happened, bro. And I don't look at it like I don't look at it like a loss. You know what I mean? I look at it as an experience of the
Sure.
game, and like, did I look at it then? Oh, dude, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But back then, if I had surgery, I'd pretty much rehab myself.
Right. I
I
remember
went
that.
to
You
like
were just in Springfield.
Yeah, like I just went to the local little rehab place with a bunch of old people trying to rehab a knee, and I'm over there doing shoulder exercises.
Right.
Now, nowadays you get hurt,
Oh,
dude.
totally different. Yeah.
Totally different. Totally different.
Yeah.
I feel that if I had the experience of what the guys have now, I could have probably come back. And then
Yeah.
I came back my first surgery after 4 months, throwing 95, 96 again.
Wow.
And so this was my second surgery is when so I had surgery in double A, and then I came back in 4 months, and I was thrown in triple A in spring training. So they took me off the 40. I was on the 40-man roster. They took me off the roster as soon as I had surgery.
Hmm.
So they already knew that nobody was going to take me in the Rule 5 draft with a shoulder hurt or injury. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they took me off the roster, and I came into spring training in triple A. I threw 18. I gave up one earned run in 18 innings in spring training.
Wow. Man.
Throwing 97 again,
Dealing.
96 dealing, and I just had surgery.
Yeah.
So what happened is I broke camp. They took me and they said, "We're going to start you in double A. You'll probably just go straight to the big leagues
Yeah.
after double A." They already had plans for me to go to pitch in the big leagues.
Yeah.
So I go and they're like, "All right, we're gonna start you." I'm pitching. I threw 18 innings, one earned run in spring. I'm running with Levon Hernandez that year.
Really?
I pitched against him and beat him. I threw 8 innings against him
Wow.
and beat him. This was my last start. So we're
Yeah.
running. He's like, we're talking and stuff. That's the year he got MVP.
Hmm.
That's the year he got called up and they won the World Series. The
Oh,
Marlins,
with
remember
the
that?
Marlins. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
So anyway,
Absolutely.
I thought that was kind of cool. But so then I go to double A and I throw opening day, right? And it's like freaking freezing cold, bro. And
Yeah.
so I feel like, I ended up throwing three games that year. And that's when I was like, there's something going on in my shoulder
This
again.
was
I
with
don't
Wichita, right? Double A Wichita.
Wichita. So then they sent
It,
me back to Kansas City, right, to go look at the doctor. Bro, the
hmm.
doctor didn't even, like, literally, the doctor said, okay, you're going to go under the knife. I'm like, I just had surgery 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You're going to have
What was the first surgery?
shoulder, labrum, all kinds of stuff,
Labrum.
right?
Okay.
But I don't think he did much. I think he just cleaned it up, which is why I was able to come back so fast.
Yeah.
4 months, I'm throwing 95. Like, who
Right.
does that,
That's
right?
crazy. Yeah, it's
So
nuts.
I'm thinking he just didn't fix anything. He just cleaned it up a little bit, but there was always something else wrong. So
Yeah.
after my second surgery, I'm sorry, when I go back to go see him, he just goes in there and cuts me up instead of being like, you know what? Instead of you being in Wichita, let me send you to Florida so you can at least be in the warm weather until it gets warm in Wichita.
Yeah.
Let's keep you in the warm weather, or let's keep you in extended spring training. Well, they
Mhm.
didn't do that. They just straight up cut me again,
What was it, labrum and rotator cuff again, or what's going on?
again.
Okay. Yeah.
So then they said, okay, everything's done. You should be back. Blah 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 blah. I missed that whole season
Yeah.
because they just cut me again. The season just started.
Yeah.
So I go to Florida. They're like same Florida. So I went and moved to Fort Myers.
Yeah.
I'm working for freaking UPS as a delivery driver.
Really?
I'm rehabbing my shoulder by myself again. You know, um,
How's your headspace during all this? I mean, I had a ton of
two
surgeries too.
kids.
I know
I have two
how
kids
difficult it can be. Sorry, go ahead.
with two kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tough.
Like making no money. I'm in
Yeah.
Florida. I'm like, I gotta get a job. So I got a job at UPS. Now I'm delivering packages, driving trucks, fucking doing everything, rehabbing myself in
Mhm.
the evenings, um, playing a little golf here and there, but just kind of living in Fort Myers.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to throw, and my arm's still not good. I go back to spring training. I'm like, dude, I can't throw.
Yeah. I got nothing.
So they're like, we're cutting you again.
Man. How many surgeries
So
did you end up having?
three in my shoulder, three
Man.
surgeries, two in 1 year.
Man.
And so what they did at that time, they sent me to Birmingham to go see Dr. Andrews.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So that was my third surgery. But what he did is
Yeah.
he did the heat probe, so he shrunk my capsule. He said that my capsule was too loose, so everything was moving around and they're kind of like separating.
Yeah.
So every time I would throw, it felt like a separation,
Mm.
which makes sense now because now if I throw it, my arm comes out of socket.
Really?
It's crazy, yeah. So that's what they did, but and like after that, I just didn't have my range of motion. I didn't have the proper rehab, the proper
Yeah.
training. But it wasn't my fault. I mean, I'm a 24-year-old kid, 25-year-old kid. Like, what the hell
Yeah.
do I know?
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, the Royals settled with me on some money for that, and they treated me really good. So
Okay.
that kind of helped me out when my career was over to
Sure.
be able to start, my businesses or whatever else that I did.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good career. It could have been great, but I built such great relationships, man. I got a chance to play with Carlos Beltran. These are my boys. You know what I mean? We're still good friends.
Yeah.
Jermaine Dye, Michael Tucker. You
Oh,
know,
wow. It's names.
all,
Yeah.
yeah, Raul Gonzalez. I got a lot of good friends still. Um,
Yeah.
we all still get together. Like sometimes all of us show up at spring training here at the Kansas City Stadium.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well,
So
I had like individual questions about each kind of year there, but you kind of wrapped up a lot of your career there, all kind of encapsulated there. I mean, when did you finally decide that, no mas, my shoulder is not what it's going to be. I'm done. Or did the Royals cut you, or how'd that go?
no, no. So this is what happened. I'm in extended spring training after my third surgery, trying to get through it, trying to come back, trying to go. And I just remember my last pitch was a strikeout on the outside corner fastball, probably at about 81.
Really?
At
That's
the,
that's all you had left?
probably like 90 maybe. But
Okay.
but I still had pain. So
Yeah.
I remember being on the mound. We were playing away I think it was the Indians against the Indians. No, I don't remember. No, it wasn't the Indians. We were playing against. Doesn't matter. We were playing away, but it was only like
Mm.
a 30-minute drive from our home stadium.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm pitching. It's like the third inning, and I can feel that my arm it just hurts. I have two kids. My ex-wife Janelle's sitting right there watching me just through my rehab, and I just remember throwing a fastball, and I caught it on the outside corner, strike three, and I walk out the mound. I'm like, I'm done. He goes, you're done. The coach, pitching coach. I go, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
done. He goes, all right, well, get your running shoes on and go. I go, no, I ain't running.
No, I'm done, done.
I'm done. He goes, what? I go, I'm done. I'm going back home. I'm done. Can't do this anymore.
What in that moment made you come to that realization?
The pain that I still have in my shoulder, that there's no way
Yeah.
I'm going to come back from this. I have two kids.
Yeah.
I need a career. I need a career. I need
Right.
to start my career. I need to start making some money. I'm not going to
Hmm.
waste my time here trying to rehab or be a pitching coach or be some roving coach around like all my friends did. I ain't got time for that no more. Like I'm done.
Yeah, you got
Yeah, I
real
was like,
life.
I'm done. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
I literally left my cleats in the dugout. I put
really.
my running shoes on, left my cleats in the dugout, and left.
Yes.
And so I went back to the spring training facility, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. So I got all my stuff out of there before the team got back, and I left. And then like 3 days later, I finally answered my phone to the GM, Bob
Yeah.
Hegman. He goes, Gamby, how you doing? I go, good, Bob. I go, he goes, well, I guess you left, huh? Like this was like I'm already in Illinois, bro.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk to anybody. I just left.
Yeah.
And so, but the pitching coach obviously knew. He's like, how he's done. Like he's. So I walked away, man. I walked away, and I think I kept my my baseball uniform and all my stuff in that bag for like 7 years in the
Really?
basement. Oh yeah, I just threw
Just
it in the basement, dude. I
just
didn't
couldn't
look at
look
it
at it?
for like 7 years.
I totally get that, man.
I was
Damn.
done.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it
So
was awesome.
at this point, were you kind of bitter at baseball, or where's your
I
head
was
at?
I was bitter at baseball. I was bitter at God. I was bitter at the universe. I was bitter at freaking
I
everybody,
totally
bro.
get that. I get that deeply, man.
I was pissed, bro. I was pissed because it was like I don't know if it's anybody's fault, but damn, man, my life just got taken from me.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanted to ask you, what did it feel like? So you were obviously whatever you believe in. We can just say God, you know, gifted you a thunderbolt for a right arm. I mean, how devastating was that to just be taken from you? It's almost like a superpower. It's like taken from you in a way, you know?
Oh, bro, it was devastating, bro. It was devastating, and I just once I was able to get through that in about a year and a half or 2 years, that's when I started
Yeah.
playing baseball again.
Okay, so you eventually
I
softened
took
and wanted to get
Yeah,
back into the game. You loved it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so that's when I started playing baseball again. And what's crazy is it was probably 2002, right? 2 years later, I'm
Okay.
playing baseball in Springfield. I'm playing baseball, at the college leagues over there, hitting bombs off
Yeah.
the fucking scoreboard over
Yeah.
there in Land.
Lanfear, yeah.
And and uh, and so I get a phone call, right? And it was the Mayos, Navajo Mayos, which is the team that I got traded for Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
They called me. They're like, "Hey, Javi, you know that we still have your rights. You belong to our team. You want to come out and play?" I'm like, "Sir, with all respect, I can't even freaking break glass
Yeah.
on the mound." He goes, "Yeah, but you're a hitter in college. You hit." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I can hit." He goes, "Well, we need you to come out and play first." I'm
Really?
like, "I'm in."
Let's
So
go.
I'm like, let's go. So like I'm back. I'm back in the game, baby. I'm be a hitter, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm hitting tanks off these college pitching over there in Illinois, and then I'm flying out here to play baseball in these tournaments. So I'm hitting bombs everywhere, right? That was
Yeah.
like the prime of my life of hitting, at that time.
Yeah.
I'm like 29. I don't even know how old I was, 20 something. And so I go over there, and I'm playing first, and I'm freaking playing, and I'm hitting fucking balls, and I'm probably about 5 or 6 games in
Hmm.
before the season starts. It's just preseason, right?
Yeah.
Then Janelle calls me, my ex-wife. She's like, I'm pregnant with my son Julian.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm done. I can't be traveling all over Mexico.
Yeah.
Pregnant wife. She's in Arizona with 2 kids. Doesn't have
Right.
a job. I'm over here trying to make money, still playing the game, not even know if I'm gonna make it to the big leagues. Like I'm like, that's when I was like, I hung it up. I was done. Moved back over here to Arizona. Went back to
Yeah.
Illinois, and then that's when I stayed there to 2007.
Okay. So not the same bitter ending. Like you were still able to have some love for baseball and still stay. We're still doing adult leagues and stuff like that after that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I still stay.
Okay.
I stayed in it no matter what. And then that's when I played in the Freedom League a little bit. You know what I mean? I just for fun, just to say that I was a 38-year-old freaking
I
hidden
found that.
player.
So
I,
we're both Freedom League alums, and
yeah,
you know, not a lot of
yeah.
people know about the Freedom League, but only lasted for about 2 years,
I
and it
played
was
the
an
first.
interesting league because they played in the spring training complexes. Like I was on the Goodyear Centennials, and we were in the spring training complex for the Reds and the Indians. Like
Yeah.
beautiful, you know, we were in the
Oh, beautiful.
clubhouse,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. I was over here with the Giants.
yeah, and there were some really
But
cool
that's
players in
when
that
I
league. I remember like Joey Gathright was in that league. Julio Lugo was trying to make a comeback. Like there were some older guys that could really ball. A lot, Phoenix has a ton of pro guys, former pro guys, and I thought it was kind of cool that they could, play in that league there. I mean, there's a ton of talent.
Yeah,
Is how
yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
remember it.
I only, dude, I went there. I was already at a job making a couple $100,000 a year. To be
Yeah,
honest, the only reason I went there is because I got asked to go there by the head manager because I played baseball here. So they're like, dude, Javi, you can still play. So I was like, I'm gonna go there and just for fun, bro. I didn't even care about
yeah,
the paycheck. You know what I mean?
right.
So so I literally played a few games and I was like, dude, I can't do this. Come on, man. I talked to the manager. I'm like, dog, I gotta go, bro. I'm going to work in the morning, doing my
Right.
sales, and then I'm heading over there at freaking 2:30, 3 o'clock to take batting practice and playing a game, getting home at 11 at
Right.
night, going,
Yeah.
gotta go back to work. So it lasted very little, but it was fun.
Cool though.
That's where I
Yeah.
got a chance to meet some Juan Sanricio, Sandrundi Windsor,
Yeah.
Eli Sonoki.
Oh, I love Eli was on my team. That dude can absolutely swing it. Love him.
He plays on my Big B's team out here, and all those
Tell him I
guys
said
do.
hello. Please tell him I
All
said
of them.
hello.
I
Yeah,
will.
that's what's
All those
up.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an animal. He's a freaking donkey.
Can he still
He
swing
hits,
it? Man, one of the best hitters I ever played with.
bro.
Just could
He can.
control that bat.
He looks like a freaking mechanic up there. He's a mechanic, but he
Is he?
just sits there. His hands are so quick. He's like, pop, like
Oh yeah.
missiles, bro. Hits missiles.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, man, it was fun. It was just a little experience and kept
That's
me in the
cool.
game. I got a chance to meet some good people and build some good friendships, and like we're still good friends. So
I
yeah,
love it. Let me ask you this. I'm sure you pondered it, but with a clear path, if you didn't have the injuries that you had, could you have seen what do you think you could have done?
I think I would have made it to the big leagues.
Yeah,
I would
that's
have
what's
played
up.
for a long time.
Yeah.
If I was when I was just learning how to pitch, really, at professional level,
Yeah.
and I think that if I would have dominated, I had very dominating games against some
Yeah.
very good players,
Right.
like Tatis. Struck his ass out with three straight fastballs. Then he hit a fucking
Uh,
bomb off me off all the stands. Walker Nurko, like I faced some very good players in that era.
yeah,
Andrew
I
Jones
love that.
struck him out a few times too. He hit a bomb off me too. But these are all pretty big hitters. You know what I mean? But I feel
Yeah,
like I had some very dominating games that if I could just stay consistent, and healthy, I could have been. I think I could have played in the big leagues for a long time.
I believe you, man. Tell me a little bit about your repertoire. What did you? I mean, were you four seam, two seam, cutter? What all did you throw?
I was a four seam, two seam, slider, changeup, and a curveball.
No, what kind of action did your fastball have? Did you have any life, any rise, any
Oh,
movement? What was it doing?
my fastball was rated number one fastball in the Royals organization 2 years in a row
Really?
by Baseball America.
What would it do?
It jumped
Did it rise? Did it
uh,
have a little pop at the end?
5 feet before it got to you. It moved. It was like boom, just fucking jumped on you.
Yeah,
You know what they say, man. The ball that jumps, the one that's got life, the one that's
yeah,
heavy.
yeah. Heavy.
That,
You got a
that
heavy
was
ball.
heavy when I threw a two seamer.
Was your two seamer sinking? Have some
Yeah,
shape to it?
it sunk down. It
Yeah.
sunk down.
And you say curveball or slider?
I threw a curveball more for like a strike.
Okay.
My slider I could throw for a strike too, but my curveball was more for just kind of getting it in there.
What was
But
the
then
break on it?
my break was probably like it wasn't 12-6. It was maybe more like a two. You know what I mean? Like just a
Yeah.
little swerve. It was more like a swerve. If I wanted to throw for a strike, I'm gonna throw it at your shoulder.
Okay. And then, so what was your slider more of a out pitch?
Yeah, that was my out pitch. That was my,
Okay.
that was my breakout. My strikeout pitch, my
Yeah.
fastball inside. I just had when I was command of my fastball, I was gonna throw a very good game. I'm not gonna give up
Yeah.
more than 1 or 2 runs.
Right.
But
I have a feeling that.
if my fastball was off, it was up a little bit because I'm dropping my shoulder or something. Then that's when I would struggle with my games. But if I was coming on a downhill plane with a fastball and I was dotting it in the outside corner, it's done. Inside corner, done. Outside
What,
corner
what
fastball, inside corner two seam.
what percentage would you say you were throwing four seam versus two seam?
Oh, I was four seam most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know what percentage, but most of the time, a two seam was just mostly to get in on somebody.
Okay.
But my
On a
changeup,
on a righty.
changeup,
Yeah.
Change up on a lefty, that was nasty.
Was it fading off, or what was it
Oh
doing?
yeah, my change up on a lefty was nasty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just drop off the table. Whack. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. We already kind of talked about it a little bit, but tell me a little more about how you felt like you built arm strength. I already mentioned that cool long toss story that you had. Do you have any more thoughts on that?
I was one of the
Like,
first
what do you
people.
think is the ideal long toss? How to do it?
Well, first of all, I was one of the first people that had a heavy ball. You know the heavy balls now?
Yeah,
I had one in high school that was made with
really?
a piece of just a piece of freaking steel.
Okay.
That's that. I'd never seen one before. I only one. I just had it, and I used to throw it up like this. Just kind of flick it up in the air when I wasn't throwing or in the dugout. That's all I was doing because a lot of your velocity comes from your. It's not really the back part of your rotation. It's the final part. It's from the
Yeah.
it's that final whip in the front. And so
Hmm.
I always worked on my wrist strength on that end, throwing a little heavy ball. But mostly, just my long toss, always with a four seam on your long
Yeah.
toss. Always making sure that you're crow hopping the right way, getting out in front, getting out there a little bit. I did have some pretty awesome, for my changeup I worked on is I would put a bucket behind on my back leg. And I would have on a bucket on the back leg and then just kind of throw down, which allowed you to get out in front. And that's where
Hmm.
I practiced my changeup on that. So a lot of
Yeah.
people, they let go of their changeup up high. You know what I mean? I threw it
Yeah.
just out front, just like a fastball.
Interesting.
So
What,
just a bunch of routine, a bunch of little drills like that I did.
how often were you long tossing when your arm
Well,
is good?
yeah, no, I would the day after I pitched, I would just play catch, just a
Mhm.
nice little play catch. The next day I was throwing a bullpen. The following day I was long tossing. Then the next day I'm playing catch again because I got a game the following day. So I was
Now,
only
were you a
long
big?
tossing
Okay.
one day in between my starts to just to stretch it out, get the blood flow. But in the off season, I was long tossing anytime I went out there in the field.
Yeah. What would you say your slot or your arm angle was?
3/4.
Three quarters. Just felt natural that way.
Yeah.
Um, at what percentage effort do you feel like you were throwing when you pitched?
Probably 95.
Letting it go. Yeah.
There were times where I
Um,
was letting go at 110% though. And maybe that's why, I had my injuries. I don't know. But there was times where
yeah,
I was just letting it go. But if I
yeah,
can
I
stay
love
up by
that.
90, 95%, I'm still throwing 92, 93 with
Yeah,
better command.
I love that. There's all kind of stuff that's come out in recent years about how pitchers have been getting, more trying to get advantages by getting more grip on the spider tack and all that shit to get more spins and more revolutions. Did you ever do anything for your grip on the ball or anything like that?
Um, no, I mean I just focus on the forcing grip. And I wish, like how the grip is a little, a lot of people don't know how to hold it. You know what I mean? The forcing grip, you got to hold the part that curves with your middle finger all the way. You feel
Yeah.
me? It's like there's a certain
Yes.
way to do it. Some people don't even think like that. You have to have it a certain way. And
I
you
know
got to make
exactly what
sure
you're
you,
talking
you got
about.
to just make sure you stay on top of the ball when you throw and behind the ball, but on top. And it's the same thing with every pitch. So your slider, same slot. You got to be the same slot. You can't change
Yeah,
slots on any of your pitches.
love that.
So
Absolutely.
I just worked a lot on that stuff, and I feel that I was just kind of learning, bro, and just getting to
Yeah.
know. Like I was having much better command of all my pitches towards the end of my career when I had
You were just
surgeries.
scratching the surface
I
on what
was
you could
just
have been.
getting there. I was just getting there. On my
Yeah.
slider, I could throw freaking 3-2. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just
Yeah.
getting to that.
Man,
And but it's one of those
life
things.
isn't
Here
always
we are.
fair, is it?
Yeah. Well, that was my
Yeah.
that was my path, brother.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts? I mean, what was the most amount of pitches you ever threw in a game? And secondly, do you have any thoughts on pitch counts and stuff like that today? How much they're limiting pitchers?
I mean, back in the day, we didn't really, especially in college, it was about winning. I'm
Yeah,
sure I
right.
probably threw freaking 150, 160 pitches in a game before.
I had
I
a
don't know.
170 pitch game in high school one time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We didn't think about that. You got to
No.
win the game.
Yeah.
But I feel like now I think it's important. I don't even know what the limit is for starters right now. Do you know what it is?
Well, I mean, they're just like teams are just like enforcing their own limits. Like starters don't go farther than 5 innings now, it seems like, once
Right.
they're two times through the lineup, they're out.
Yeah, unless they're throwing a no hitter.
Different game. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, what team did you grow up rooting for then?
This is a funny question. I don't have a team.
Really?
I still don't have a team.
You just love
I
baseball.
don't have I don't have a team for any sport.
Really? What you got?
I'm a players fan.
I love that.
I love good players. I like to watch Mike Trout. I like to watch Soto. I like to watch the guys that are doing great. I root
Mhm.
for them when they're playing against certain people. I don't really have a team. It's kind of a be honest, I don't even really go to baseball games unless it's like a
Yeah.
spring training game.
Right.
Um, I'll watch it depending on stuff. I'll watch some sports, but I just never grew up with a team. As a kid, your grandfather's a Dodgers fan because of Fernando Valenzuela, so I'm sure I was a probably Dodgers fan. And then I saw the Kansas City Royals win the World Series, so I liked Kansas City Royals one year.
Yeah,
But I
sure.
never really had a team. I never really had a team. It's crazy.
I got you. I grew up a Braves fan, but as I've gotten older, I've moved away from that. It's more just I appreciate good baseball players, same as you.
Yeah,
I totally
yeah.
get that. Um, who would be your favorite or your top three favorite pitchers of all time?
Greg Maddox, freaking.
Maddox, yeah, Mad Dog.
Oh yeah, I mean Roger Clemens was amazing, but Maddox to me was just to know because in that era to pitch how he did at freaking 88 to 90 miles an hour,
Incredible.
that was amazing.
Yeah,
That
it
was
really
amazing.
was. Yeah.
Pedro, are you kidding
Oh
me?
man,
Freaking
Pedro, man.
Pedro. I mean, there's some great pitchers now, but those guys, man, were legends.
Do you remember that All-Star game when Pedro just made like everyone look ridiculous, and it was just like
Oh yeah, dude.
98, and then the Bugs Bunny, change up,
Oh
and the
dude.
snatch, and everyone looked like little leaguers. I mean, it
Oh
was like his
yeah.
prime. I'll never forget that. It was like
I
All-Star
think
game,
even
might have
when
been late 90s.
he ripped his sleeve, he put a hole in his sleeve or something so he could throw
Yeah, that's right.
that. He was amazing, dude.
Pedro, man, that's probably my favorite pitcher of all time. Just an absolute artist at what he could do. And like he started with an amazing arm, and by the end, it wasn't the same, but he was still an artist. He could still
Oh,
get it done at 88. Just incredible.
yeah, I would say those guys were just dominating. I
I
mean, there's
love
so
that.
many good pitchers back in the day.
Three favorite hitters of all time.
Oh, come on, you got freaking Barry Bonds, baby, Barry Barry
Yeah.
Bonds, Barry Bonds, Barry Bonds. I mean, that guy, what a
Yeah.
hitter. I mean,
Yeah.
and to see the home run era, with
Yeah.
McGuire and freaking Sosa and Barry and like those guys were just, I mean,
Do you think there'll
but
ever be another hitter
Tony
like
Gwynn,
Barry?
baby, Tony Gwynn.
Yeah,
Tony Gwynn, what a great hitter. And you
absolutely.
would look at him like he's not. I mean, he was just a doctor at hitting, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just love
That's
Barry
two.
Bonds. He's yeah, Sosa and McGuire. I mean, but
Okay.
I would say Barry Bonds, Tony Gwynn. I
Do you
mean,
think do you think there'll ever be anyone comparable to Barry Bonds, or is that just like a one of one? We'll never see anything like that again.
I don't know, man. I don't know if anybody's gonna hit that many bombs anymore.
All right, best hitter, best pitcher of all time. One and one. You think it's
Uh,
Barry? You gonna say Barry?
I'm gonna say Barry, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
say only because of Maddox, only because of how he did it. I think he's my favorite. I used to
I love
love
that.
watching him pitch, bro.
Just how
Like when
fast he
he's
would go through games, man.
bro, and like his ball moved like 4 feet, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
crazy. Yeah,
and you throw it way out there, just come in. I'm like, how do you even do
man.
that, dude?
Yeah,
So
special.
I mean, he was just good for me to watch because he wasn't your overpowering.
Yeah.
He was just a doctor, bro,
And
surgeon.
now there's like no players like that in the game because it's all, data driven. If you're not throwing mid 90s with the right, spin rate, you're not getting drafted anymore. So like it's crazy that there's not going to be any more Greg Maddoxes.
I know that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
All
not
right.
you're not gonna get drafted. You're not gonna get drafted throwing 92.
No.
Nope.
Um, what number did you like and why?
I like number 24. I never wore number 24 professionally. Um, not because of Barry, but because my son was born on the 24th.
Cool.
But in high school, I like number 10. College, I wore number 10,
Yeah.
but in pro ball, you wear whatever number they give you.
That's the truth. Yeah.
You know?
Um, were they doing entrance music when you were playing pro ball? Like intro
Nah,
when you came into pitch?
nah.
Okay. If
They
they
probably
if
were, but not for me.
what would you put on now if you could go back and be like, I want to put on something, make me feel it. What you got?
I, I probably put on some a little bit of Latin music. I don't know what
Huh?
song it would be, but a little Latin music, maybe a little Bad Bunny or something.
Okay.
I
Eli turned me on to some of that Latin music when I was down there. Man, I loved his walk up. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember I downloaded it and was like feeling it a little bit. But there's some good stuff in there, man.
oh
Um,
yeah, oh yeah.
were there any coaches or people along your path that were really important to you that you feel like need to be given some gratitude about, speak about?
Oh, I mean, my college coach Larry Lee.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. He was uh, he was a big mentor to me. I can still call him right now, and he'd probably, if not answer, call me back.
Yeah.
We stayed in touch. Larry Lee was probably my biggest mentor, my biggest coach that I ever had.
What was so special about Larry?
He was just very good at uh, understanding each player. He wasn't like your typical coach. Like he understood each player. He was very smart. He played pro ball also. Um, he had a demeanor about himself that just made you respect him.
Yeah.
That you never looked at him like coach is an idiot. Like you have
Yeah.
coaches that were like, oh, he did this or no. It's all. It was so respectful with him, and
Yeah.
nobody looked at it different, which is why he's been a very winning coach his whole career.
I love that. Is he
Which
still
is why
coaching or
his
what's he doing now?
which he's a coach at Cal Poly University.
Oh, right.
But
You said that earlier. That's right.
his son, which is the reason why his son was a first round pick 2 years already.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
first round pick at a high school doesn't sign so he can go play college ball with his dad.
Wow.
Then a
Pretty
first round
special.
pick for the junior year.
Yeah.
So,
Love that.
yeah.
Um, what is some of the best advice that you've ever gotten in baseball and what's some of the worst, if you can think of anything?
Um, as far as the best advice is just continue to work hard every day and train. Work harder than most people. Just know
Yeah.
that somebody's always working harder than you. So Um, I would say that, just
Okay.
which I've put that into my life today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about somebody's doing something better than me right now.
Yeah.
So how can I be better today?
Who?
So it taught me a lot, about the game. And then the relationships that I built too. But I would say the worst. I mean, you know, I don't really know if I got bad advice,
Okay.
but I don't really know if I've ever gotten bad
Okay.
advice. 'Cause
That's fine.
you always take every advice to kind of learn from. You know what I mean?
Sure. Absolutely. I have this question here in front of me, but I don't even know why I wrote it because I said, what do you miss most about the game as a player? But you still play. So
Yeah,
I guess you don't
yeah,
have to miss the game, right?
right. Yeah, I don't. If I would miss more the camaraderie of a ball player in the dugout
Yeah.
and in the clubhouse
Is
and
it what's that's
traveling.
it's really special to you that
That's the
cohesiveness that
best. Yeah, that's the best part. And then the other thing is, dropping a bomb off somebody. And running those bases and the shortstop and the second baseman look at you and they're like, "Nice swing, man." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So I mean, looking back, do you think if do you think you could have done some things in pro ball as a hitter if you had gone on that path?
I wasn't fast enough as far as speed,
Okay.
but I could definitely hit. So I would have probably been. Matter of fact, I think that I could have been a catcher.
Really?
You know, 6 foot, 195-pound catcher with a hose with a great arm and can swing it a little
Absolutely.
bit. Maybe not the fastest,
Yeah.
but I feel like maybe I could have had a shot. If I trained at it. Obviously, I'm not a catcher,
Yeah.
but I think
That
at
makes
that
sense to
time
me.
when I'm 21 years old, 20 years old, I could have probably learned
Yeah.
uh,
Absolutely.
if I was taught by the right people. But yeah, I think I could have done some damage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
I
still
look at
impressive
it.
when
I look at him now. I go to spring training right now. Look at him. I'm like, I could probably still hit that.
I love when you post videos of tanks every once in a while. I'm just like, how is this guy doing this? Man, I
Oh
love it.
yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
I
Keep doing it,
love
man. Keep hitting them tanks.
I love to play
Um,
still.
what are you most proud of looking back on from your career?
Just honestly, um, making the decision I made at the right time and just taking everything that I learned in baseball and applying it into my life today.
Oh, that's a good answer, man. Wow.
Yeah, just taking
I love
everything I learned in baseball, applying it today, and
yeah,
applying it into my life and my career, my businesses or my relationships, my family life,
yeah,
my work ethic in the gym or off the gym or anything. That just
yeah,
taking those skills that we learn that a lot of people don't continue to use. A lot of people take their skills, they learn them, and then they try to teach other people in the game, so they stay coaching. I took it off and just taught my kids. I put that into my kids and whatever it is that they do. My kids own businesses also. So it's like I just take a lot of that and apply it into my life today.
so you feel like baseball shaped you in ways that have helped you as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as a man. Yeah, would you say that?
Absolutely,
Beautiful, man. I love
absolutely.
it. That's the good stuff.
I got Anthony Madrano, Raul Gonzalez, Juan Senricio, and somebody else here at my house, Jonathan Romero. They all played pro, and we're sitting here. All of them got a little taste of big league time, right? Uh, Anthony is a manager for the Indians, and I think minor league ball somewhere. I think he goes up to the big leagues in October when he plays with the Guardians or whatever. When the Guardians go to the
Oh,
big league, the World Series
yeah.
or to the playoffs. Um, and they're all here at my house. And I was like, oh. I go, my bad. I can't be standing around a bunch of big leaguers. Like, you guys are big time, right? And then Raul Gonzalez looks at me. He goes, Papi, he goes, you might not have made it to the big leagues, but you're in the big leagues now.
Uh-huh.
And that hit my
That's
heart.
cool. Oh man, that might be the name of this episode. You're in the big leagues now. I'm writing it down, man. I always look for like a really cool line from it, so maybe that's it. Um, Tell me do you have a favorite baseball movie of all time? And then secondly, what's the worst? Or if you have a couple that you really like, let's talk about it.
I mean, I like freaking the basics, man. Major League, Sandlot,
Hmm.
those movies.
Hmm.
Bull Durham. I
Bull
would
Durham,
say
my
Bull
fave.
Durham's probably my favorite.
My favorite too, yeah.
Bull Durham. I mean, least favorite is probably I don't really have. They're all awesome. Even
What
the
about
even the
Angels
even
in
the
the Outfield, Babe? Those were
oh,
not great. Summer
those
Catch.
were yeah, those were great. But they're still baseball movies. You're still gonna watch them. If it's on TV tomorrow, I guarantee you'll probably still watch it.
You're right. Um, did you ever play any baseball video games? And if yes, do you have a favorite one?
RBI baseball. It's the only one I've ever played.
Man, a lot of people have said that. Absolutely.
That's
RBI
the only
baseball.
one. Oh, Kevin Mitchell used to hit tanks on that thing.
Kevin Mitchell, there you go. Giants great. Yeah, that dude could absolutely play. I remember him well.
Yeah, he used to hit bombs on that thing.
Tanks.
Bro, I would sit. Me and my friends in high school would put RBI baseball on watch. We'd pick a team, put it on watch. They play each other, and we would bet.
Really?
We just watch. We'd watch the game and bet on each other.
That's a
That was
first. That's
awesome.
cool.
That
I
was
love
awesome.
that. Um, as a player, did you ever try to emulate any other pitcher's mechanics, or did you ever try to emulate anyone as a hitter?
No.
Okay.
Pitching mechanics probably Maddox a little bit. I always try to
Okay.
work on just very very smooth delivery.
Yeah.
But no, I just kind of had my own. As a hitter, I've always had my own.
Okay. All right. This is a fun one for me. I love talking baseball bats. I have a humongous bat collection. I'm really an Ash guy. Like I prefer the Ash. I know it's like
I
they don't
love
make them
Ash.
anymore.
I
What?
love Ash.
There we go, right? Isn't there
Bro,
something special about Ash?
that freaking sound that
Man,
Ash makes,
man,
it's like a bullet shot.
I love it. Yeah, I
I
still
mean, when
prefer
you
the
hit when
Ash.
you hit the ball and when you hit the ball really good with a big barrel Ash bat,
Woo!
that ball's that sound. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Ash is my favorite.
me too, buddy. So tell me about your favorite bat model of choice and why.
I don't have. Well, I like you know, in high school I saw a C243,
Hmm.
but
The
I
big
like the
barrel
T. I
Louisville
like the
Slugger.
I like the T141 though.
Now you do?
That's like a more balanced bat with a
Yeah,
decent sized barrel.
sure.
The T141 or the M110s
I like both of
is,
those. Yeah.
is what I like. But now my Zinger Bats is out here, company out here.
Yeah. Right. I,
I,
I I swung some zingers when I was in the Freedom.
Yep, Zinger Bats out here. My friend Scott Hanish is the owner of the company. So I have my
Okay.
own model that he made
Really?
me. Yeah, it's got three penises on it.
It's got what?
Three penises on it.
Well, I gotta hear why.
Yeah, because he put Bip on there with the three eyes being penises, and then on the bottom it says throw some head on it. So it's just kind of a funny thing, but it is a model though. But they don't print that on anybody. They just put it
Right.
on my. But I don't remember what the model is. To be honest, I just took a couple of bottom handles that I like, and he did
Yeah.
a handle I like, and then he did a barrel I like.
Okay.
So it's just my
What,
own model. When I order them, I just get my own model.
dude? I gotta get one of those.
I'll send you one, dude.
I would
I,
love that. I would. I
there's
want the
probably
penis model Javier Gamboa.
there's probably one of the pictures on Instagram of the I mean on my
I gotta see
Facebook of
it.
that bat.
I gotta see. Are you? I assume you're swinging a 34, you big boy stick.
Yeah, 34, 31 and a half
Okay. Do you like it cupped?
cupped.
How do you like your handle?
More like a little bit of a flare
Hmm.
at the bottom, but not too big. Because
Okay.
I put my pinky off the bottom.
Are there any bat models that you don't like? You're just like, ugh.
I don't like
Like
I
I,
don't
I
like
I really don't like the I-13. I don't like the way it feels in my hands.
I don't like the I-13 either. I don't like the axe handle bats. None of
Hmm.
those. I just like a traditional, a little bit of a flare knob that you can
Yep.
put your pinky over, and then I like the barrel to be a little bigger, but a little longer, more balance.
Now, do you do anything to the barrel? Do you ever bone it or anything like that, or any fun stuff like that? I
Well, we
used to
used to
mess
do
around
it
with that just for
with
fun.
the ash bats, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I like to do back in the day is take all the shine off of them, sand the
Yeah.
shine off of them, have them look all wood like
Yeah.
real
Natural.
wood, and then just freaking pine tar all the way as high as I can get it.
Right. Love that. Yeah, that's so cool. What about glove model? What's your favorite? Like, you know, do you have a
I
brand,
mean,
size, web?
I like all the
Hmm.
Wilson or Rawlings back in the day. I mean, I never pitched with like a outfielder's trapeze webs,
Yeah.
but those were pretty hot back in the day.
Yeah.
But just a Wilson A2000. I mean, who can go wrong
Yeah.
with that?
You know what? I absolutely. I don't know why this memory just flashed in my head, but I remember you gave Gino a really nice Rawlings Heart of the Hide, but it was Chad Durbin's glove. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah. Did
Yeah,
it have his name on it?
it did. I remember that. It was a
Chad
beautiful
Durden.
glove. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a friend of
yeah.
yours, I assume? You had his glove?
Carlos. Oh yeah. Carlos Febles gave me one that I had forever too. One of his infielders gloves, but I used to pitch with it because it was like beautiful.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on like the on a glove conditioner or ways to break in a glove? Do you have any specifics of how you like to do things?
I just never really got into the conditioning side, but I just like to make sure I formed it correctly.
Yeah.
Hit it with the bat head and just form it the right way. Flare out the fingers a little bit.
Yeah. Hmm.
I always thought I was like some outfielder or infielder with my gloves, and I was just a pitcher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
But playing in these leagues now, even now, I think I have a badass like $400 Rawlings in my bag, infielder's glove that I only play catch with because I don't even play infield anymore. But it's
Yeah.
like you got to have that sick little glove, or
Yeah.
the sick outfielder's glove that you don't. Yeah, you're only gonna maybe play when you play softball. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. I love that.
First
Who's the
baseman's
most
glove, 1000 Wilson, first baseman's glove.
really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
neat. Who's the most talented player you ever played with? If you can name one or two, or anyone jump out.
Carlos Beltran,
Beltran, man. Yeah.
stud.
Tell me a little bit about him. What you
Very
remember as a
quiet,
player.
very
Hmm.
quiet, very humble.
Yeah.
Young when he was young, just very quiet, humble, and just knew that you know he had all the talent in the world, all the talent in the world. This
What
is how
about?
humble he's so humble, like, and he's so like we didn't talk for years, and they're playing here. Houston's playing against the Diamondbacks, and I see him. He brings me in the dugout. I'm in the dugout kicking it with them while they're taking batting practice, just talking to him.
Cool. Yeah.
And Alex
That's so
Cora,
cool. Wow.
and me, Raul Gonzalez, Alex Cora, and Carlos Beltran sitting in the dugout talking baseball about how launch angle sucks. That's what the old school guys are saying. No, you don't do. You got to get that backspin. You got to get that backspin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like to them, it's the old school way.
yeah.
Coming down
Now,
on the ball and make that ball jump. You know.
do you
Now they
have
teach.
thoughts on that?
I don't like the launch angle. I
You
like
don't
I
like all
like
the new swing stuff?
I like I like coming down the ball and just
You
you know
think you're
put it
thinking down?
down, create that backspin.
Okay.
I hear you. Um, what about the most talented guy you played against?
I would say probably Andrew Jones,
Oh man, yeah.
Andrew Jones, Fernando Tatis, Paul Konerko. Paul
Hmm.
Konerko is probably one of the top.
Yeah, for sure.
That guy had his swing his pop was ridiculous.
Mhm.
Love that. Most fun year in baseball.
Um, the year that I went and played with the Blue Rocks in Wilmington.
Why was
Uh,
that the most fun?
just because I just got called up there,
Yeah,
and they were in a winning streak, and we won 18 games in a row, and
yeah.
then we come back in the dugout, and I remember playing a game that one it was a walk off, and we went in, I put the speaker on. You dropped a bomb on me. And so that was our theme song, and we ended up winning 18 games in a row. And it
Really?
was just a fun year, fun guys. That was just a good year. That Johnny Damon was on that team.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
it was a fun year.
What was the least fun year for you?
I would say my first year when I went 0-5.
Hmm.
I
I
would
mean,
say it was
were you feeling like you didn't belong, or
no.
where was your head at?
I just feel like it was like not a it's kind of a negative year. I feel like
Yeah,
the coaching, the managing, the people, just a couple people I played with that were just kind of you know. But
Sure.
we didn't do that great. I didn't do great. I felt like I'm this new guy. Everybody's D1 guys. I'm a seventh round pick at a JUCO, and I'm starting opening day, and I freaking pitched like crap, and it just kind of went. It just went bad for me. The place I
Interesting.
lived was bad.
yeah.
Uh, my first experience, I get there and sign it. There's a dozen baseballs sitting in the boxes. They're like, I'm like, what are these for? They're like, oh, we got to sign them. So I grab them and I sign every single one of the baseballs in the sweet spot. And they're like, what are you doing? I did them all. They're like, who's it? The manager comes. He's like, who is this? They're like, Javi. And he looked up. They freaking talked about that story, bro, for freaking 3 years.
For
About
those of you
Javi.
that don't know, the sweet spot of a baseball is like right between two seams. It's kind of like if there's only going to be one person signing a ball, that's where you would sign it, or whoever's going to be like the top dude, would probably
Or the,
sign there. So if the whole team is signing it, you don't want to be the guy that probably signs there.
the
Would that be
manager,
pretty
yeah,
accurate?
usually the manager will sign the sweet
Yeah,
spot. Unless they're asking you to sign a ball and it's your own ball that you're signing.
just your ball, right? Yep, yep.
You sign the sweet spot. And
Speaking
I,
speaking of, I
uh,
have every guest sign a baseball for me on the sweet spot. So I'm going to send you a ball, and I would love for you to sign it on the sweet spot and send it back to me if that's possible.
sounds good, bud.
Yeah, buddy. You got the thumbs up to sign on the sweet spot from me.
Heck yeah. That was
Um,
funny though.
so you said something there that was interesting about you were this JUCO guy along with, you were there with all these D1 guys. Um, so that you're comparing yourself to them in a way. How was your belief in yourself during your career? Did you struggle with
I
that at
think
all
I,
or
I think during my career it was great. Just the first year was a little bit of a challenge for me
sure.
because I
Okay.
knew I knew that I could do better than I did,
Yeah.
and I struggled with. I would throw 7 innings, no runs, and I would just not get a decision.
Yeah.
Feel me?
Yeah.
Or I would get tattooed and give up 7 runs in a second, and then I'm out. Like it was just
Hmm.
one of those years that just things weren't going for me well. But I
Yeah.
didn't let that bother me. I came back with a 6-0 record and .39 the next year,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and then I went
Um,
0-6. That's not the point.
looking back, would you have done anything differently? In terms of like how you the surgeries, how you prepared, anything. Is there anything looking back that you, glaringly you're like, man, if I had done something different here, it could have
Yeah,
been a different
yeah.
path?
I would have probably not had surgery at the beginning. I would have
Hmm,
probably just said, let's rest a little bit, let's rehab a
okay.
little bit, let's
Hmm.
strengthen my arm. The other thing is, after I did have my surgery this year, I should have never gone and played in the winter, in the cold weather. I should have just stayed back and rehabbed a little longer after my surgery. So
Yeah.
I would say that. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of that could have changed my career.
Okay. That makes sense to me. What were some of the your favorite yards that you played at?
Where the Durham Bulls play?
Oh man, you got to play there?
Yeah,
DAP? Wow,
yeah.
that's so
That
cool.
was just because of the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I I I
pretty awesome.
I still think that's the most accurate representation of minor league life. Bull Durham. Pretty close, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it
Yeah,
is
just
100%.
special. Love that movie. Do you have a most memorable game that you played in?
Yes, a game that was televised that I was pitching against the White Sox organization. Um, in Double A, I think it was, or A. No, it was in the Carolina League.
Okay.
I don't even remember South Bend, maybe Bend, Oregon. No, South Bend, Indiana. That's what
Okay.
it was. And I just remember that game because I had a great game. I think I threw 7 innings, 2 hits, but I struck out maybe like 7 or 8 guys, and one of them was Pete Rose Jr. twice.
Oh
And the
yeah.
game was televised,
Oh
and I got an
cool.
opportunity to keep that game and send it to my uncle. And my uncle watched it like every day for like a year. And like my cousin used to watch it with him, but then my cousin ended up playing for the White Sox. Like it was kind of cool, that game was
Oh
it was
yeah.
just special. The other game that I would say is I'm playing against the Dodgers Double A team in San Antonio, Texas, and I used to tell my manager, I was like, let me take batting practice. They never let me take batting practice with a team.
Yeah.
I go, all right, I'll make you a deal. If we win the next game, we go to the playoffs. I'm pitching. If I beat them, I take BP. Done. 7 or 8 innings, 2 hits, shutout.
Yeah. How'd that
I have
BP
to
go?
take like freaking bombs, bro. I couldn't believe it. They're like, what the hell's going on here? I'm like, hitting bombs, bro. They're like, what the hell? The other team came out to watch me because I was telling the other team, Paul Konerko and a couple other guys, I'm like, I'm taking BP tomorrow because I'm taking BP today because I smoked you guys yesterday. Like, what? We're watching. So they came out. They're like, damn. It was kind
Man,
of fun. So then after that, the manager goes, Javi, from now on, you're wearing cleats in the dugout.
Really?
I never got an AB, but he said, you're wearing cleats in the dugout.
That's awesome. I love that,
Oh, yeah,
man.
that was awesome. That was awesome.
So you've
I
always
feel like
always
if
had some pretty big pop.
I feel like if I ever had a challenge, like somebody was challenging me, like, hey, win this, I'm taking you to steak dinner. My
Oh,
focus was so deeper
interesting.
than just me going out on the fifth day.
Really? Okay.
It's weird, right? So like
Yeah.
now in my careers of sales or of ownership, I have a challenge. I challenge myself on stuff.
Yeah.
I love to ring the bell, right? Whenever I get a sale. So like to me, the challenge is I want to ring the bell. I made up this thing called Money Making Mondays. Why? Because to me, my mindset sets on Mondays.
mm,
And so like I feel like now I understand that. So which is why I stayed in sales because when I perform, I get paid.
yeah,
Make
I
sense?
love that.
I
Yeah.
don't just go to work. I don't just have a job. I don't have a paycheck if I don't
yeah,
work.
yeah,
You gotta
Got it?
you gotta kill what you're gonna eat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. You seem like you are in your wheelhouse as an entrepreneur, sales guy. Like I could see you. You can just
Yeah.
I can tell you're just lit up by that. That's beautiful, man. I'm
Oh
glad that you
yeah.
found something in life that's been fulfilling for you. I know it can be hard after baseball ends. Some guys don't ever find that same kind of passion or, you know, enthusiasm for something else. So good
Oh
for
yeah.
you. Did you have any superstitions?
I mean, we're baseball players.
Yeah, right?
Of course we do.
You got any funny ones?
No, but you always try to put on the socks. Your left sock first, your right sock second. You always just little things, whatever works, right?
Stuff like that? Yeah.
If you have a bad day, then all of a sudden those are gone, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's
Sure.
like now you got to think about something else, and if that worked, it's like, oh well, now I got to do this.
Yeah. That makes
So I
sense.
mean, we always have different superstitions that we just kind of make up on our own.
Do you ever have baseball dreams? I ask every guest this. It's interesting sometimes.
Baseball dreams.
Yeah, you ever dream about baseball?
I mean, probably. I can't really think of a dream that I had as far as baseball, but I'm sure
Okay.
that I have.
What would make the game better, the game of baseball today? I mean, obviously, it's
Stop
kind
putting
of
all these
evolves.
stop putting these stupid ass rules on there now. You can't
What rules
freaking
do you think are
you
stupid?
can't freaking tag somebody hard. I mean, come on, bro. We're men. You stop making it like it's a wimp sport now. Leave the old school game alone. First of all, why can't we
Yeah.
argue with the umpire? That's what makes the game so exciting. Now you
Mm,
got a replay. Now you got all that shit is I hate it. That's one of the reasons I don't even watch it.
yeah.
It's like you can't argue with it. Remember those days? Those are
Absolutely.
some of the best moments ever of a game.
Yeah.
Good,
Absolutely.
getting out now they're I don't know, man. It's just gotten like I don't know. And then
Well,
you got
let me ask you this. The game of baseball today has kind of changed to where it's, these dominant pitchers all throwing nasty stuff, mid 90s with shape and movement and run, and hitting has gotten so difficult that it's kind of like a three outcome game now, where it's people are trying to hit a homer, you strike out or you walk, you're trying to drive the ball. A lot of these small parts of baseball has been are missing. What do you think about the evolution of the game? Would you change anything, or how would you address that?
I mean, no, I mean to be honest, I just like the old school guys, the old school game.
Yeah.
There's some great ball players. There's some great players now.
Hmm.
But I feel like they should just leave the game alone. The
Hmm.
game is the game. You can work with the players. I understand all the stats. I do get it because it is stats, obviously.
Yeah.
But but just don't I just don't like the fact that they're messing with the game. Though all the changes they make. To be honest, I don't even know what changes because I'm sure there's changes now that I still don't even know about. They're gonna piss me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, who do you?
Yesterday I went to a spring training game. Guy
Yeah.
freaking the catcher picks the first.
Mhm.
Boom, comes down, tags him. All of a sudden he gets up and the runner gets second base. And I'm like, what the heck was that for?
Yeah, what happened?
Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a tag too hard rule now. If you tag him too hard, he gets the bag. It's
Tag
like
too
pretty
hard
soon
rule.
they're going to start giving trophies to every team.
I love that. Are there any players today that you enjoy watching that you think are just special?
I mean, I love Mookie Betts.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I love
Hmm.
Mookie Betts. You
Why?
never
Why?
know. Just because he's little, bro, and he's fiery and he hits bombs and
Yeah.
he can play freaking everywhere.
Hmm. That's
And
it's incredible that he can. Now he's a shortstop, but he's been a Gold Glove
freaking,
outfielder. Yeah, it's incredible that he can do this. Change
oh, dude, that's
positions
what I'm
late in
saying.
career.
I mean, Mookie Betts,
Yeah,
bro. Like, I mean, he's just because he's like against all the odds, bro.
well said. Love
Just
that.
a little guy, dude. I don't even know how tall he is.
I
Probably
think he's
like
five
five
eight or
nine.
5'9", not very
Yeah,
big.
165 pounds.
Yeah, and drops tanks. Isn't that crazy? I mean, he's got a
And
beautiful
played every
swing.
position.
Yeah, and every position. Yeah, what a talented guy. I love that. It's a great answer. You kind of talked on this, or you touched on it briefly, but there's so much out there now about the swing. Different thoughts on how to teach the swing. There's a million Instagram hitting coaches. It's a much different swing taught than what was taught, 20, 30 years ago. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you follow any of these guys? Do you look at any of these guys? Do you have any interest?
No, I don't really follow too much on that.
Okay. Um, okay, gotcha. Are there any training devices that you really like in terms of like as a hitter or a
Uh,
pitcher?
no, I just as far as training, there's so many things that people are doing now, dude, that I see.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck is that? Some of them are good, some of them are good, but some of them are good drills.
Hmm.
But I'm not even in the game enough in the pro game to even know what the heck is out there anymore.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I see like the tee work, putting a higher tee at the top, behind the ball, like still those old school ways.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I like, staying inside the ball, just moving that around. But I'm not too much on the devices. I mean, I see people using like freaking PVC pipes and all kinds of crazy stuff, so I
There's a
don't
million
even.
little gadgets now
Yeah, yeah,
that are
yeah, and
out there.
a lot of pitching stuff too, but not really.
Tell me about your hitting approach. What are you thinking when you go to the plate?
I'm gonna hit the ball in the face right back at you.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's all.
are you looking
I'm
fastball adjust? Are you thinking in the air?
I'm,
What are your, do you have any
I'm
more
always
thoughts?
I'm always thinking off speed.
Really?
I think off speed and react to the fastball
Tell me why.
because a lot of people are gonna throw me freaking off speed pitches. They're not gonna come in.
Just because everyone
Still,
knows that you can drop
yeah,
tanks so you get
yeah.
thumbed around.
I've
Okay.
hit balls off people that are throwing 95. They're Dominicans. They don't live here. They come visit. They throw in these tournaments, and I play. And some of their players know me. They're like, I'll hit a bomb off them, and we're like, we freaking told them not to challenge you. And this guy just got down in AAA. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I just,
Yeah.
but my problem is if I set up for fastball, I'm jumping ahead, so I'm going to be on my front
Ah,
foot. So I
interesting.
just sit back and set up for off speed.
Yeah.
So I'm
I love
looking for
that.
let's say a little slider or curveball. I'm just
Hmm.
waiting for that, and I'll let a couple go through, and then I just kind of react to the fastball.
I love that. Now you're a guy that's stayed incredibly fit through the years. What's your workout routine? What are you doing to stay fit enough to be able to hit 400
Yeah,
foot bombs still?
I just stay in the gym. It's a lifestyle for me.
You look great.
Uh,
Yeah.
the lifestyle, and it's a part of who I am, and it keeps me active, and it keeps me, um, you know, you work hard, you get your confidence, you go into business meetings, and you're fit, and you're a big dude in shape. People are gonna listen to you.
Oh, I like that.
I can't I
Yeah.
can't be I can't be, a top sales performer and own businesses and just be a slob.
I love that.
You have to be seen as a champion. People, your presence means a lot.
Ooh. Ooh. Seen as a champion. You know what? I totally agree with you. There's something to be said about someone that walks in a room and you can tell that they're really fit because it says a lot about them, right? It says that they have discipline. It says that they're dedicated. It says that they are willing to work and, and that they're willing to stick through something long term. You don't just wake up and you're in good shape and have muscles. That's a year by year by year progress. So I totally agree with you. Well
100%.
said.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that.
100%. Yeah.
All right, I'm excited about this
That's,
one. Tell me about the BIP brand. Um, I don't know when you started it, and it doesn't look like there's as much activity with it now, but some time ago you started this hitters brand called BIP. Tell me about
yeah.
it. It's amazing.
It's kind of started as a fun, just for fun. So every time I hit a home run, maybe like back in when I was like 40,
You
maybe
would
like
say it.
10 years ago, every time I would hit a home run, I'd be like, beep, beep. Like I would just say it.
Where'd that come from?
And it was just me being dumb,
It's a
I
made up
think
word.
it's just a made up word. It's a made up word. And I feel that it's an energy that comes out of your body that
Ooh,
I feel like when I'm ready to hit and I just hit a ball and I connect with the ball and I see it come through and I connect with barrel, I just know I got it.
yeah.
Beep. And then
Bip.
most of the time they're going to be a home run. So people used to say, "Don't let him bip you. Don't let him bip you, and that's going to be gone." And so people would come back and be like, "Did you bip? Did you hit a bip?" And it was kind of a word that was made up, and it meant basically home run. But to me, it meant more than that. It was just an energy that comes out of your body, just kind of like if you're in karate. Yeah, the same concept. It's an energy out of your
Ooh,
body that
ooh.
comes out. So one day, I was like, I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says, uh, uh, "I woke up in bip mode," right? So I made these, and I made the T-shirt for my teammates. We were
Yeah.
going to play a tournament, and I made them to give to them so they could wear under their jersey. I woke up in bip mode. There was not a logo or nothing. That's just all it said. Which
Yeah.
means, I woke up to win, or I woke up to drop bombs, or I woke up to just be a champion.
Yeah.
That's what it meant. It was more of a movement. Well, the tournament got canceled. So I had these 25 jerseys, 25 t-shirts that said I woke up in bip mode. So I put them on Snapchat, and I was like, "Hey, anybody want one of these? $10, right? Because
Hmm.
that's what I paid for them."
Yeah.
So I sold like 70 of them, and I only had
Wow.
20 of them. So
So
I
you're like,
made
maybe I got
more.
something here. Yeah.
So I was like, "Holy cow! Like that's pretty cool, right?" So then I called my buddy. I'm like, "Hey, can you make me a logo that says bib with three eyes?" He's like, "Yeah." So he made a bunch of them, and so then I made a T-shirt that says bib in the front, had my logo on the front, and on the back it said, "You shouldn't have thrown it there." Exactly.
I've got a
You
bib
should.
sticker here, right here.
Yeah.
I've-
Yeah. And it said,
Yeah.
"You shouldn't have thrown it there."
Yeah. Oh, I
Right.
like that. Yeah.
So then I put it on Facebook. People bought a bunch of them. I made another one that says "Hunt the fastball." I was making T-shirts with just little phrases on them,
Yeah.
and people were wearing them, bro. I had freaking big league guys wearing them. Fucking Prince.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Prince Fielder was wearing one of my shirts. Like all these
Yeah.
guys were wearing these T-shirts just to hit during BP.
Yeah.
And I thought I had something. I think I still do. I just haven't really. I took a little time off because I have another business that's kind of taken off for me, so I took a little break
Yeah.
off of it.
Sure.
But that's just kind of how it started. And
Yeah.
then next thing you know, I'm making freaking everything,
Batting
manufacturing
gloves,
angles. So
yeah.
then I came up with the name with the slogan, the Hitters brand.
Yeah. I
And
love it.
there were people that would shoot me a message and be like, "Hey, I just want you to know that I I'm not good enough to wear your brand yet, but I will be soon." Like in
Oh,
their mind, they're thinking the Hitters brand. They're like, only the best players wear this brand
Wow.
in
That's cool.
softball and baseball.
Yeah.
So it was going great for a while, and just took me off track a little bit with some manufacturing issues that we had.
hmm
And then my old business partner and I kind of took a little fallback, but it's still there. It could still be active. I just took it down for a little bit to
Are you still
refocus
like,
back
are
on.
you still taking orders or not right now?
No, 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 no. I
Okay.
took my site down right now. I wanted to take a little break,
Yeah.
but I have some really good friends that are in the. Have you ever heard of the hat melon?
No.
MELIN. I'm sure
Mm.
whoever's listening to this, I'm sure they know what it is. They sell about, I don't know, 1.5 million hats a year.
Wait, who?
And
Say that again.
Melon, MELIN.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the owner of that is a friend of mine.
Okay.
He hit me up the other day. Says, "Why don't we launch BIP again?" Him and I. So
Oh.
there could be something coming
Oh.
Oh, that's
where
cool.
there's going to be an opportunity of somebody that's been in the industry for a long time,
Yeah.
connected already with some big hitters, has is making about I don't even know, maybe 150 million a year in hats right now. So he's already got a guy. I got a guy
Yeah.
that's he's already got all the connections that could possibly help me launch this thing. We just haven't sat down yet.
I would love to see BIP up and running again. It's really cool, and it was really cool seeing all your videos and you mingling with all these guys and pros wearing your stuff. You could just see how passionate you were about it. And I mean, being an entrepreneur is kind of in you, right? Wouldn't you say, just like deeply, like you had a clothing brand at one point too.
Yeah, called
Empowered, was that
Empowered.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Empowered. Yeah, I had that brand. I started it because my son used to skateboard and rides BMX and motocross,
Yeah.
and then all those brands out there were just real negative, Metal Militia and all those brands. So
Yeah.
I started a brand called Empowered with the same vibe, the same look,
Yeah.
uh, and we would put little
it's
phrases
cool.
on there, and it was good. It went well. I did it for about almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And again, I learned from those brands. I learned
Yeah.
about
Sure.
manufacturing. I learned about finding and what to do, what not to do.
Yeah,
So, those brands taught me a lot,
I love that.
which is what's taken me to a bunch of new things now. So, and
Yeah.
all the relationships that I met and manufacture. I got manufacturers all over the country now that
Mm.
are that I can still stay connected with.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'd
So,
love to. Yeah, that was really cool. So we're getting close to the end here, brother. This has been incredible. I knew you were going to be awesome at this. What a cool baseball story. I've got a couple questions left for you, and I'm not sure how deep you're going to get on them, but you could get deep if you want to. I've been seeing you post a lot of stuff about, journaling and manifesting and positive mindsets, and you sent me a video earlier about affirmations and stuff. I'm big into that stuff too. I really deeply believe in it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. How do you incorporate this stuff into your life?
Oh man, it's everything in life. It's everything in life.
Hmm.
Manifesting. I mean, I got it on my knuckles.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Like everything
What
that
does
I
that mean to
do.
you?
I mean, creating your own path. Creating whatever you
Yeah.
want to happen in life. If you want a good day, you can start off with a great day. You want to create wealth, you can create wealth easily.
Yeah.
Um, it takes work and dedication, but work and dedication is already instilled in me. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna dedicate, and I'm gonna go full in. So
Where did that
like,
come from?
I just think that it's just in you. You know what I
Just
mean?
in you.
It's in you
Okay.
as a little
Yep.
kid.
Okay.
My mom asked me the same thing. How are you like this? Where'd you learn this? Where's this? Like one day I was like 5 years old, and I'm in California visiting my parents, and they have all this big old grass in the front yard and this big oak tree, and I just remember sitting there playing with marbles, right? Two marbles, and I just hit one, hit the other one, just kind of hit with marbles, and one of the marbles got lost in the grass, and the grass was like thick, maybe like
Mm.
3 4 inches long. I
Yeah.
couldn't find the freaking marble. The California grass is like real thick. Couldn't find it, so I sat there on my knees, and I'm like sitting there by myself, and I was like, I'm gonna throw this marble up in the air. It's gonna hit it. I just threw it up in the air. It comes down and freaking hits the other marble. And that day changed my life.
Thoughts become things. Interesting.
Yes,
Wow.
that day to me was like I can literally do whatever I want with my brain. I said I'm going to throw this marble up in the air, and it's gonna come down and hit the marble, and I did
Man.
it.
Oh man.
So that day changed my life, and that's the day when I have baseball cards that I made when I was 16 years old. That I made my own baseball card and I signed them,
Of
and I
yourself?
still of myself playing on the Pirates. But
Yeah.
I took an old baseball card and I cut the edge out of it and I put it in the back and I taped it and I signed it. And that card is at my office today.
Really? Man, that is
That's
cool.
what it means to me, from visualization,
Yeah.
manifestation. I believe starting your day off that way with a little bit of quiet time and breathing,
You do
staying
breath work?
focused. Oh, breath work, and then listening to affirmations instead of driving, listening to a bunch of music. Throw some affirmations on to win your day.
I agree.
And that right there, your subconscious mind does not understand a lie from the truth and the lie. So as your subconscious mind is listening to these and you're repeating them and you're thinking them, they start happening. You start believing in what you can accomplish.
Oh man, I totally agree. Yeah.
So it's everything in my life. I do not live my life no other way. Bad people never come into my life. I sit there and I think about people, and people are like, well, I'm just, all these people are just coming. I'm like, I don't know why, because nobody bad comes into my life because I don't attract them.
Mm.
I don't
Can you
think
speak
about them
can you speak more on that? Why do you not attract negative people into your life?
because I don't think about them.
Because your mindset's so positive, you don't like attracts like?
Yes,
Mm.
I
That's
don't
deep.
attract anybody bad in my
Yeah.
life. Well, there's always going to be bad. No, there's not. I have
Yeah.
parties at my house and they're great people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think that way. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even think about racism. I don't think about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just think about just surrounding myself around successful people that bring
Yeah.
value to my life because I'm going to bring value to them. So you
Yeah.
deserve my value. I deserve your value.
I love
Don't just
that.
come into my life to just linger in my life. I don't
Yeah.
have time. I got about another 30 years left in my life that I'm focused. If you're going to waste my time, you're not in it,
That's what's up.
you know? But I surround myself around those people. And all my friends would tell you how I am, just like you see it. But you know what? I also perform it. I don't
Hmm.
just say it. There's times where I send little affirmations things to certain people because they're in my heart. That's
Hmm.
probably why you got one. But I don't send them to anybody. There's times where I'm like, oh man, this is a good one. I'm gonna shoot it to this person and this person because I feel like maybe that so many times I get the text message, but man, I needed that. Thank you.
Beautiful. I love that.
So
Yeah.
but you only receive those thoughts if your mindset is the right way, and you only
Yeah.
receive. Feel me? You only gonna receive
Yes.
that positive energy from people because who you are as a person.
Hmm.
I've sent it to some people where they're like, "Why are you sending this to me? Do you think I'm a negative person?" I'm
Hmm.
like, "You don't even get it.
Yeah.
I just send you affirmations or something positive, and you're taking it like I'm sending it to you because I think you're negative,
Right.
you don't
I
even
get what
get
you're
it.
saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
How do you pick there's endless YouTube affirmations. Are there any ones that you like the best, or do you just go on there and just, type in affirmations for men, or what are you looking for?
I know, yeah, I just go on there, and now my YouTube is so programmed that it's about, it just kind of, they pop up, and I just use kind of whatever I'm feeling. You know what I mean? If it's
Love
gonna
that.
be health
Yeah.
affirmations, if
Hmm.
it's gonna be, wealth affirmations, whatever it
Love
is, and
that.
whatever
Yeah.
I'm feeling, I'm
I start my day with affirmations as well. Sometimes when I walk my dog, I do it. I'll even go to bed sometimes with affirmations on. Just kind of,
oh
reprogramming
yeah,
your mind. It's beautiful. You do some journaling too, right?
oh yeah, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Not necessarily journaling, just writing down kind of what I want to happen for my week.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a
and,
manifestation journal kind of.
yeah, manifestation. Just 6 steps that I do that are just kind of making, just writing down. Uh, you know, I'm thankful for the wealth He created for me this week. I'm thankful for all the great
Nice.
clients that you brought to me this
A
week. I'm
gratitude
thank
journal.
Gratitude journal. That's all I do. But it's just maybe two or three little lines depending on my day. And I
Yeah.
stick to those for the week. And I just
Yeah.
read them in the mornings. And then I do my a little bit of breath work. And then I go to the gym and listen to my affirmations at the gym when I'm in
Really?
the sauna before I start working out. Then I
Yeah.
throw in my music. I get my
Yeah.
workout in. Sometimes, if I do another workout or later in the day, like if I'm going on a little run or something or whatever, I listen to affirmations. I don't listen to music
Really?
because I just stay focused.
Is
Sometimes
that important?
I'll go hike a small little mountain, and I just listen to affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only time I listen to music is when I'm getting ready to go out to have dinner or something.
Really? So do you, it truly is, you can retrain your mind. Do you ever have negative thoughts, or do you feel like you have so programmed your mind that you mostly see on the positive or neutral side of things?
I'm mostly now, yeah. It's all in the positive.
Yeah.
We do have little negative thoughts, yeah, but
Yeah.
mostly it's in the positive. Yesterday, I'm driving to a baseball game and this guy pulls out in front of me and like clip him with my front left tire of my big ass truck,
Hmm.
ripped his whole front end off. And I pulled over, right? And he shows up. I'm already on the phone getting a new rim. He shows up all stressed out. And my car's already at the shop. I felt bad for him. Now I'm like, you know what? What's the point of even looking at this bad? I mean, I go, this is an opportunity. You just got an opportunity to meet me. I had an opportunity to meet you. Now let's get this fixed for you. Let's figure it out. Poor guy's from Cuba, old ball player, doesn't have anybody here.
Yeah.
Didn't want to call insurance because he just got the car and he bought it
Yeah.
cash. He hasn't bought insurance yet. He's like, he's just. So I looked at it like an opportunity. He looked at it like, oh my God, my life's over. So now I'm going to hire
Opportunity.
him to go work at one of my jobs so he can make some money to pay for his car.
That's awesome, Javi. Good for
You
you.
know,
Yeah. Man, and so you feel like all these, the journaling, the manifesting, all these things just are what you need to keep you in the right direction.
absolutely,
Beautiful, man. I was really
absolutely.
excited to talk to you about this. Yeah.
That's a part of your life. That's a part of your. That's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just like going to the gym, waking up in the morning, having your routine.
Yeah.
It's a part of a lifestyle.
Have
You
there been
know.
any books that have been influential on you, or along these kind of lines?
I mean, I listened to some books back in the day, but
Okay.
now is mostly just affirmation stuff that I listen
Mm.
to, and just really understanding yourself.
Yeah.
There's self help books out there, but
Yeah.
I think that nowadays, like I just kind of know what it takes for me,
Yeah.
um, you know, and and I kind of go from there. But I had a life coach for a little while, like 4 years
Really?
back when I lived in Illinois,
I didn't know that.
and he helped me a lot understanding about that stuff. And my life coach was mostly, once a week I would meet with him on the phone, or once a month I would meet with him in person. He lived in
Mhm.
Chicago. His name's Ron Brown, and he just kind of taught me a lot about values. Having values, understanding that what's right and wrong. As
Yeah.
a husband, as a father, as a business person. So that kind of started my journey on like understanding my mind, and really kind
Hmm.
of understanding how to grow as a man.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I moved here, I just kind of took that, and as long as you have those beliefs in you, it's gonna attract you to people that have those same beliefs. If you
Whoa.
have no beliefs, you're just gonna wander around with people with no beliefs.
Oh,
You're not even gonna see the way that they really are. You're just gonna kind of, oh, it's
yeah,
just my friend. But now it's much deeper than that, right?
yeah. Hmm.
So it's like, you know, it's like when you close your eyes, right? And you say, open your eyes and tell me what's around. And you're looking around, you're like, oh, there's a kitchen and there's this and there's this table. But if I say close your eyes and I say, all right, open your eyes and tell me everything that's red, you go like this, and, oh, that's red, that's red, that's red, that's red. How come you didn't see the red when I told you just to open your eyes?
Mm.
But when I
Mm.
say look for what's red, now it's the same thing in life. Know what you're
Yeah.
looking for. Know what you want to be around. Know the type of people you want. Know what you're looking for in business. And so if you have a clear definition, how are you going to know you have a clear definition unless you write it down?
Yeah.
This is some awesome stuff. I really appreciate
Yeah.
you. I really hope people are listening to this and taking it because this is some awesome, awesome life advice. And I mean, from what I think I know, man, you have a really nice life. You look like you're happy. You look healthy. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that life has treated you well. I don't have any more questions for you, brother. We're kind of at the end of the line here. How was this for you?
Oh man, it was awesome, and it's good that we finally got a chance to get together. And
Yeah,
I think it's great. I hope that people do listen, and hopefully it helps somebody. Try to bring
absolutely.
value to people. So hopefully it helped. If anything, you just get a little kick out of my life. That's all.
This, the whole premise of the show is kind of looking back and, seeing what you learned about yourself through the game, life, all these things. It truly is a journey worth remembering. And this was, man, thank you for taking us on this ride. I've always wondered kind of how you saw things, and I've always thought of you as this kind of like magical guy. And it further, I think that now, and I just thank you for giving me some of your time, brother. I know time is money, and you're out there hustling and bustling. So thank you for
Wow.
sitting down with me. This has been awesome. If there's anything else you want to say it. Otherwise, I'm gonna take us out of here.
I'm good, brother. Thank you again, and I appreciate you. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll be talking soon.
All right. Post game spread. Again, I'm Blake Helm. Just sat down with my man Javi Gamboa here for 2 hours. He dropped all kinds of knowledge on life and baseball and what he's been through. What a beautiful, amazing story, Javi. Thank you so much for your time, brother. One love, man.
All
All
right,
right, brother.
same, brother.
All right.